the October 13th meeting of the large venue working group preceding the licensing and permits committee meeting tonight. We have a resolution to discuss, to review, discuss, add to, change if we wish, and hopefully vote on at licensing tonight. It consists of the guidelines that we discussed last month, came up with regard to the lighting and the sanitation. So any thoughts on this? And is it fine as it is? Did you have a chance to look at it?
Oh, is it?
I'll share my screen so to blow it up as well.
Yes, thanks.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I did not, I'm sorry to say, have a chance to look at it.
That's fine. We can do it now.
It's very, I think it's very good. And what we talked about before with Mariama and Jen is to put some of this in a bullet points, make some of this bullet points and then put it into like a stipulation sheet. So everybody who has a large venue has to sign something like we do for licensing. This is going to be voted on here, Mariama. We don't bring it up at licensing. You're our own little committee.
Oh.
No, Susan, actually, no. I asked Lucian because I was honestly a bit confused as to how we do it.
I'm so confused.
And he said
Yes.
anything that's proposed at large venues will have to be rolled into licensing for a motion for a vote.
Okay.
All right, we'll do. Okay. Okay.
So
We can discuss it here though and make whatever changes we want to make, if any.
Yeah.
Is there anything else from our list that we've been going over that we want to add to this while we're passing something? Any additional guidelines you want to stick in here?
Well, when I looked at it, I can't see, we don't specify what we mean by large venue.
Excellent point. And we previously determined that we would go with the Department of Buildings stipulation for a large venue, which is 75 persons.
Yep,
So that should be there.
right?
Absolutely.
where would you like to have that added as a whereas? Should it be in the beginning?
I think it should be in the beginning, something like whereas 75 people or persons constitutes a large venue.
Mhm.
75 plus, right?
Yes.
75 or more, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
okay.
75 or more persons constitute a large. Well,
Right, according to the Department of Buildings, and they may have a title for the sheet that can be found on, I don't know.
yeah, I'll go back to that document. I
Okay.
know which one you're
And put it as, Jen, that we have taken it from the Department of Buildings. Make it sure that it shows that we just didn't invent it from the sky.
Right, it's not
As
arbitrary or anything.
stipulated by the Department of Buildings, a large venue is blah, 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 blah.
Thank
Mhm.
you.
a large venue.
I like as stipulated rather than according, Jen.
Yeah.
Francis's verbiage is much better. As stipulated by the Department of Buildings.
Okay.
Confirm her, stipulated, document, law.
Actually, I think the best word is probably defined.
I'll go with the lawyer.
That's nice too, as defined by the, okay.
Has a slightly different meaning. The other
Okay.
75 persons, it also necessitates a place of assembly permit. So I'm just wondering, is there any tie-in you want to make to that? Because that's the size for the place of assembly permit also.
Oh, and what agency is responsible for that?
DOB, it's the same. I think it's the same, it must be the same concept, if nothing else.
Let's see, permit. Yep, I just brought it up on Google. As a matter of public safety, New York City requires a place of assembly certificate of operation for all premises where the certificate of occupancy indicates that 75 or more members of the public may gather indoors or 200 or more may gather outdoors.
Mhm.
So I think that should be in it, and it should be in our stip sheet or as a bullet point, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and cite the section.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'll add a comment here to cite.
Yeah.
I got it from a document called, it's a 21-page PDF, Jen.
Oh,
It's called A Guide to the New York City Place of Assembly Process.
okay.
Who supervises it, Miriama? The Department of Buildings, right?
I believe so, yes, according to this.
Thank you, Mariama.
You're welcome.
Can someone sort of reiterate the verbiage there for to complete this whereas that would refer to the place of assembly permit?
Okay. Yeah, on the bottom of this document, it's like signed by, for lack of a better word, Bloomberg, the Department of Buildings, and the Fire Department.
Ah, okay.
Ooh, I love it.
Yeah, nobody's going to question that.
Oh, they may, but it will at least have it. Everybody questions everything now. You should all read Brett Stevens today in the Times.
Okay, why?
It's very well written, I think. About what do I want to say about how we conduct ourselves. I want to tell you, Mariama, were you at the meeting on the Site 5, the last meeting?
No.
No, you weren't. It was Pat, I guess. Okay. My friend who attended said, everybody is so personable and so civil. I said, we try very hard. It's not always easy, but we try. All right. So anything else, Mariama, you think we need?
Where are we adding that, Jen? Is it going to be with this other whereas of the 75 people? Like, are we going to say like, and additionally, a assembly permit is required?
Yes, I think that's a perfect place for it.
So would you like in the same? It's up to what you all decide on. It could be the same. I think if it's more in the same whereas, so there won't be too many whereases.
Okay, yeah, I think that's appropriate.
Additionally,
Could you scroll down so I could see the rest of it?
sure.
Yeah, she hasn't seen it. And additionally about the outdoor, the assembly, you can add that from Miriam's PDF.
Mariama, what is it called officially again? A place of assembly certificate or permit or certificate? I think it was place of assembly.
Place of assembly certificate of operation
Okay.
for all premises where the certificate of occupancy indicates that 75 or more members of the public may gather indoors or 200 outdoors, which hopefully we'll never have, but.
Dream on, right.
So does this whereas look good to you all?
Yeah, but you'll fill it out, all of it. It should be spelled out as it is in that document.
Let me email you the document, Jen. That's probably easier.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So Francis, have you said, keep going, Jen, so Francis gets to see everything.
it's a pretty short resolution, you know, and as we go through it, feel free to add in anything else that you think should be made as a requirement or as a condition. This last whereas, I know it wasn't discussed at last month's large venues working group, but it was more so in whereas that I felt could be added, and again, this could be removed. This last whereas is referring to this whole 30-day notice that we're receiving, and you know, moving forward, we're gonna keep seeing. It's the 30-day notice for an expansion onto municipal property.
Right.
Well, we did talk about it a little, right? Isn't this the item when we were hoping for more like 60 days? Was that this?
No, I think that 60 days was talking about just if if an applicant for a large venue or a licensed large venue, if they were planning to hold
Have a sidewalk cafe or something, right?
a sort of, yeah, or an event, a street event,
Mm-hmm.
and it
I
would,
think we settled on 45 days, like to sort of meet in the middle somewhere.
Yes,
Did we
that was
ask
the
Susan?
whereas
Okay.
before.
Oh, okay.
We see it, the group requires that any principal applying for a permit, blah, 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 at least 45 days in notice.
45 days in advance.
Yes,
Okay.
we say that there. But then we say the next one, that's for the municipal. But we're asking for 45 days. Does that make sense?
Can we make that 45 days too, or is that not an option? Jen?
well, for these 30-day notices for this sort of expansion application,
Mhm.
our office has been receiving them the same way that we would receive like a 30-day notice for, let's say, a renewal or a new application. There's no really set time frame as to like how many days in advance our office should receive it. Usually the way it goes for this expansion is that, so when a principal, or let's say the licensee, they want to use they want to expand into municipal space, they would have to work with the DOT and apply for the expansion. If that expansion is approved by the DOT, then the DOT mandates that and the DOT and the SLA mandates that this licensee will submit a 30-day notice to the community board, letting them know like, hey, by the way, guys, like I'm applying for an expansion. I already received DOT approval.
Mhm.
And part of that 30-day notice, how we respond is that we require them, because this is required by the SLA, we require them three things, which is listed here on the whereas. A block plot diagram detailing the municipal space that licensing will expand to, documentation that supports the municipality's approval to use the space, as well as the 30-day notice itself. So I can actually show you an example so all of you will know what I'm talking about. Let me just
Okay.
share my screen.
So I have a question for everybody, and we haven't had it here. Do we want to require some kind of a, for these large venues, a part of the package as, not like a traffic kind of study or a traffic,
I think for some, we're gonna need a traffic study and or environmental, study, impact study.
do we want to put it in there as in some situations, so we give ourselves some cover that community board one may require a traffic study or a traffic plan
Mhm.
be submitted with the proposal? Don't you
Yeah.
think we want to at least have that in there somewhere in one of the whereases?
Yes, absolutely. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, depending on where it is. And so-
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah,
Can everyone see my screen?
yeah.
So this is what I'm talking about in terms of the 30-day notice. So for example, for this notice, I received it back in August, right?
Mhm.
And this had already expired, but this is an example. So for this establishment, which is Salugi's, sorry, I'm bad at saying words. They gave us a 30-day notice. So our response is that we require this principal, which is the owner or the management, to submit, the 30-day notice. We confirm that we received the notice. They submit a diagram detailing the space that they're expanding to, and then submit a documentation confirming the DOT's approval. So I'm going to move on to the next slide. So to the right, you'll see the block plot diagram, and then to the left of my screen, you'll see that small blurb or text. So congratulations, as part of the city's open restaurants program, so-and-so is authorized to add outdoor seating to city sidewalk and or roadway in front of its restaurant in accordance with all applicable terms and conditions and health guidance. And you'll see what it is approved for, right? So then going back to the document, that's why I decided to add that whereas, because in response to this expansion onto municipal property, our way where licensing fits in terms of like how we review these notices is that at that point, since that expansion has been approved by the DOT, what we can do is at least have a stipulation sheet we can invite the licensee to come to our meeting to discuss the expansion and the scope of it. And then what we can do at least is, since it's already approved by the DOT, is have a stip sheet in place for them to agree upon pretty much. And again, sign and notarize as we would for the existing stip sheet, for example, that we have for new liquor licenses. So let me just share my screen once again.
Are you going to share the stipulation one? Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the stipulation sheet that was sort of adopted by the stip sheet that had already been that's already been used by is being used by Manhattan Community Board 3. And this was actually raised by Tammy. So she really recommends that we should have a stip sheet in place for this kind of application, for this expansion application moving forward. So that being said, it would be a good idea to have that kind of parameter set in place for large venues. If whether it be now or later in the future, if they tend to apply for the use of outdoor space. And again, this sheet will be revisited during licensing, since this fits under
So
licensing.
is this something that the DOT approves without public comment?
Sounds that way.
Good question. I don't know about that. If they just, because as far as it goes on their website, they even give the opportunity for licensees who wish to apply for this expansion to just go ahead and like apply on their own and self-certify.
Self-certify?
Yeah, so it's a very easy process from the looks of it. I don't know how it looks like in terms of like if they have a public comment.
I bet they don't.
Well, particularly if they don't, I think we definitely need to have this. I mean, I agree with you, Tammy.
I do know that in relation to the larger open restaurants program, they're currently undergoing a public comment period for any members of the public who wish to voice their opinion on the open restaurants program to contact the DOT and 311. So yeah.
So not only
So
wait, let me just say this. So not only do we not get to see this before it's approved, this also means that nobody in the neighborhood gets notified the way they normally would for an SLA proceeding.
Correct.
Yeah, well, that's really a problem from my perspective.
Well, it's a problem from everybody's perspective, but we have no say. We can go and talk at this meeting and whatever. That's the whole point of this. There's an absurdity to it that is beyond the pale, Karen.
Is there any way that we can involve the neighbors in this at all? I mean, could we at least invite?
that's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen, because my question is that, and so that means that if I apply for a restaurant liquor license, whatever, and I'm getting ready to open, I'm not talking about outside, but because of the fact that I'm a restaurant and I'm opening in New York, am I already entitled to use my outside space in addition to my inside space? Is that the way it goes? So
It sounds like with a pro forma application and no notification beyond whatever the SLA required, you probably could.
Yeah, and so that means that, okay, for this restaurant or whatever that we're looking to approve, and we get them to sign this stipulation sheet, and then they open up and they have their indoor, they do whatever they're doing, and then they go outside. Then we get the community is up in arms because it's like, hey, there all this noise and blah blah blah. Then that's the way the community will probably become involved.
After,
It's sort of like a backdoor, backhanded, after the fact kind of way of getting the community involved. But this is ridiculous. That means that anybody that opens a restaurant in New York City now has the opportunity to use the outside space
yeah,
if they have it.
right. And people don't get to participate until it's too late. Because we all know, yeah, and because we all know that once it happens, it's very hard to undo it.
The only thing we can do is when they come before licensing is restrict their hours, mark it down, put it in the stipulation sheet, and then call the police. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Right,
Yeah.
Jen?
That's going to be like our only power. We'll
right.
have to have exert any kind of control over this situation.
Yeah, it's totally out of control. But anyway, let's put in, Jen, somewhere that in our the licensing and permits for the large venue, maybe so we don't have so many whereases, where it says lighting and the effects, the security and quality of life that we put in, and the monitoring of pedestrian vehicular traffic in some way that goes there. And submitting a plan that documents how the venue will monitor vehicular and pedestrian traffic. Don't you think?
I believe that was already mentioned in the May resolution when we sort of, we asked that, well, large venues and licensing requires the applicants now submit a traffic plan detailing so and so, and including what you just mentioned.
So that should be one of our bullet points, right? Don't you think that should be?
We can add that in, for this resolution again. That's
absolutely okay.
I think I see a typo. Sorry to do this.
Yeah, I see it too.
Okay, in the paragraph about lighting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It should be appropriately lit. It says appropriately lil.
Thank you, Karen.
It's lit, but it's not lit. It's lit, not lit.
Yeah.
Thank you, Karen. So everyone, that's why I mean, I hope I gave you all a better understanding as to why I thought perhaps adding this whereas would be a good idea. Again, feel free to raise any suggestions, make any.
I think it's terrific, Jen. I think you did good work for us.
This would apply for large venues anyways, regardless. So,
yeah.
I'll continue. Again, feel free to make any edits to any of the clauses. So
we have 4 minutes before we're starting our meeting. Our other one.
Do we have quorum? We can go in now if you want.
Oh, let me double check. Let's see. Okay. Oh, I think Joel is on. Yes, he is on. So let me count Joel into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh my goodness. We're missing one person. But I think considering that we had our members cut short, Susan,
we're gonna keep it. We're saying we have quorum. That's it. The end.
Again, this is we can bring it up to Tammy to allocate the quorum 7 members in lieu of 8.
But she had to take the other meeting. Blah blah blah. Right. remember.
Okay, and I think Duran will be joining us soon, right? Along with
Yeah.
Pat Moore. Okay, so
Yeah, he said he was coming back.
okay, great.
I will adjourn this meeting of the large venue working group and
Thank
hand
you.
the reins over to Susan.
Thank you. So, we're recording. Welcome, everybody. I'm Susan Cole. I'm the chair. Hi, Michael Chow of the licensing committee. I'd like to make a couple of announcements. One, Megan Hugh will not be co-chair for the next period of time. She's unable to give us her time. She'll still be try to attend the meetings. And Francis Curtis has graciously accepted being co-chair with Mark Amoruso. And
Congratulations.
I have co-chairs because I need all the help I can get. This is a huge committee and we have a lot of stuff. We have a great committee, but Francis's help is much appreciated. And bless her heart for saying yes. So,
My
moving
pleasure.
right along today, we have a couple of things. First, I'm just going to go very quickly. We will vote. When do you think we should vote, Jen, on the licensing, the large venue? A little later on or right now?
A little later on, since
Okay.
yeah.
So we have Tammy put in our, or they put in the office, the fiscal year budget response. You know, licensing usually doesn't have anything to do with a fiscal response, but I thought maybe if everybody agreed, we could put in a comment to have increased staffing for monitoring sidewalk and open space by the by DOT. Since
Oh, yeah.
okay,
Increased staffing? How about a whole department?
well, that's
How
true.
about a whole
But I think that would be really
okay, a start. They definitely are going to need some more help in terms of trying to organize. There was this whole thing was an impulse situation, you know, in response to COVID and to try to appease, I think to try to appease the business owners, the restaurants in New York City, try to appease them and also to help them out. But there should have been a little bit more thought put into a lot of the things that they are allowing to happen, and done maybe a small trial, you know, or a certain section of the city or something. It shouldn't have been just like, oh, everybody free for all, you know, go, hey, take over the streets, do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
I just put in while you were on the phone.
Thank you very much. All right, so I think I've asked Jen if we could all agree. I think there should be increased staffing so they could monitor and be out, which they don't seem to be doing.
Right.
All
You
right.
mean performing inspections and such, right?
Yeah, I do.
For sure.
All right. We're going to go into our agenda, everybody. And the first thing we have is Max Bookman we're going to give him, not Max, Matt Vigiani is going to give us a little update on the tour for 456 Greenwich, the hotel. A number of people went and they're coming before us in November, and we're going to have them give. Matt, could you do it in 2 minutes or 3 minutes, and just so we've got a long agenda, but I want to give you the opportunity to talk. He's been I must admit that they had a very nice open house. I heard, I was not in attendance, but for the residents in the neighborhood. So that's what I heard. So Matt, go.
Sure. Thank you, Susan, for the warm welcome, and thank you to the members of the committee. I will try to be done by 6:35 in deference to the chair. We did welcome, I'd say about a dozen, maybe a little more neighbors to the hotel, and we walked the various spaces that would be licensed. We took a look, we started at the roof so that folks could understand the relationship of the roof space to the other buildings, but also to the building itself. We went then to the interior courtyard to understand and look at that space with neighbors and fielding questions the whole way through. And I'll come back to that in a second. We then took a look at the ground floor, the cellar space, and walked the gang, the working group through what that box is. It's sort of a box within a box. It's actually quite cool, and we'll present on that more fully at a later date. But suffice to say that a lot of time and effort has gone into ensuring that that space does not have any noise impacts on surrounding neighbors. That's actually part and parcel of all of the work that we've done. We ended the tour at the restaurant at the ground floor and fielded some more questions. We thought it was really great to have everybody there and see the space, feel the building itself. And then we also have had a virtual working group meeting, and that took place last Friday, October 8th. And we went through all of the questions that folks posed during the tour and walked through responses to everything. That is a public link. Anybody who is part of the working group process has that link, can input questions if they want. We welcome any new participants to future discussions as well, and are having some offline conversations with folks who had some additional questions that we didn't maybe capture or get to during the working group. All very cordial. I think everybody has been really great and open-minded, and we know we'll have future conversations. In fact, we are scheduling one for October 22nd as a continuation of the working group process. Done. 6:30.
Thank you. I think the group is trying to be open and listen to us. There will be some issues, we know that, and the meeting will be in November. They anticipate opening in April of 2022, Matt, or later?
We're saying fall 22.
Oh, okay. So we have some time and we have things to work out, but it's most appreciated. And I would urge anybody who's interested or has a question to contact Matt.
Yes, and I will put my contact information in the chat as well. I'm happy to answer any other board member questions if you'd like.
Anybody have any questions? Raise your hand. If not, I'm going to move on. Thanks, Matt, very much.
My pleasure.
Okay.
Thank you, Susan.
You're welcome. So our next item, we're going to start with the Tribeca, and we're going to go to 293 Church. And I have a few questions. And Jen, can you put the application up for us?
I will.
Thank you.
We have our council here with us tonight, along with the principals for the application. I'm just moving them up to panelists. Give me one moment. Okay, hi Terrence and hi Zach. I move you both to panelists so you're able to unmute yourself. Whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and start speaking. I will present your application in a moment. Terrence, are you
Terry
there?
or Michael, can you guys, Terry or Michael, can you guys hear?
I can hear now, yes.
Okay, terrific.
Okay, can we get it on the application board so we can have a sense? $293 Church is between what and what?
Between Walker and White.
Oh,
All right, Terry, do you want to kick it off or Michael?
Do you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you
Yeah.
perfectly.
Okay, hi, I'm Michael Barrett. I'm going in partnership with Zach. I presently own the Tippler in the Chelsea Music Hall for 10 years. We're a cocktail bar, the same thing that we want to do here. We've been there for 10 years. We're very community minded. We've never had any problem with the police or fights or underage or drugs or anything like that. We run a completely above board shop. I'm an ex-cop many years ago, and I've been in the business my whole life, and we'd like to come to the community and open up a great place.
Okay. So we're going to look at the application.
Okay.
Walker and Wright, it's ground floor. Kitchen storage in the basement, retail first floor. Simple liquor. You want a sidewalk cafe?
We'd like just a small one. The frontage is very small. We're probably talking about 8 or 10 seats.
Very small.
Without
10
any-
seats? You could get 10 seats?
Well, whatever we can get there legally, we would like to do, just to give us some presence on the street so people know that we're there. It's a small lounge. It's narrow and long. So we want the community
It
to
is small.
know we're there for business.
Are you going to take advantage of the street, the parking, the outside? That, are you going to build a shed or whatever outside?
Hopefully, if everything goes well here and with the liquor license, we will probably, if the sheds are allowed next year, we would like to put one.
what kind of a build? Okay, what is in this space now, and what is the use of the building now?
Space is actually fully built out already as a lounge. It was meant to be a kind of merchant, a place. Zach, you want to take that?
Yeah, for sure. The space was built out. It was used primarily for retail, and but has never been open to the public. So it was. They used to store hot dog carts in the space, and a few years back it was built out, and like I said, it hasn't opened to the public yet. So this is
Okay.
the.
Okay, I got that. So two things. To help people visualize it, what is next door?
So next door we have, well, there's a Western Union that is shutting down, and that's up for lease right now. And then we have Apex Art on the other side.
Okay, and the building that you're in, is it a residential building at all?
Yes, there's 4 residential units on top of the retail space.
And are they
One of which, yes, one of which I live in currently. So I've been in the building for several years now.
Are you immediately above the space, or is there somebody below you?
No, I'm immediately above the space.
Are you going to have soundproofing?
We do. We have the speaker system right now. So there's actually a revision to the application, which I sent through to Jennifer earlier today. So it says 66 speakers, which was a typo on, for some reason, the Adobe doubled up the text, but there's 6 speakers that are just for background noise or background music. and that's the extent of the of the speaker system. No live music or anything like that. The one potential point of concern is the back of the space has a skylight, which just knowing from living upstairs, there is sound that potentially could escape through that, but I don't envision it being an issue. The space is pretty well insulated currently, and soundproofed all the way to the front. But yeah, that's.
What are your neighbors, Terry? Are you on either side of you? One is the Western Union, and what's the other side?
Yeah, and on the other side is Apex Art, the art studio, or the gallery rather.
Right.
How many people can be fitted? What's your assembly? How many people?
Right, that's what I was saying.
67 people.
Does that number include your employees, your staff?
I think with employees, it's 75, ma'am.
74.
You have a place of assembly permit?
It's not necessary.
We have.
Yeah, for 75,
go
it's
ahead.
necessary.
Right. There's 74.
Well, you just said 75.
Right. He misspoke.
No, the
It's-
certificate of occupancy is set for 67, just to be clear. So, yeah, for 67. So, we're not anticipating more than, obviously more than 75, but I think 67 is comfortable with employees included. It's not a very large space. It's very long, but it's very narrow.
Yeah, it looks like it. Very narrow.
Very
Yes.
narrow. Yeah.
How many
yeah.
tables inside? How many?
8 tables and
You're gonna
50
have it.
seats is what it says.
Oh, yeah, okay.
All
How
right.
many people at the bar?
Yeah.
So there's 20 seats at the bar. So the majority of the space is taken up by the bar. It
Bar, it's a
runs
long
the
bar.
length
So,
the length of the space, and yeah, with 20 seats. Just to recap the concept here, having lived in this neighborhood for several years now, what we're trying to create is a very professional, respectable place for people in the neighborhood to go out at night. So obviously, in this neighborhood, we have, the Roxy right across the street. There's Paul's Lounge downstairs at the Roxy, which is typically for young people. And there's really no other places other than restaurants for, people who live in the neighborhood to be able to go out and have a drink and enjoy themselves at night. And that's what we're trying to do here. I think that, we've done a really good job of preparing the space for the public, and, we really want this property to be contributive to the neighborhood. I love Tribeca. I've really enjoyed living here and want to stay here for a long time. And I think that this is something that will add value to the neighborhood. And that's why we're pursuing this. And with Michael as the operator, I think that and the experience that he brings to the table, I think that we'll be able to achieve that really nicely in the space.
Will you have any food?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
we're gonna have a slight
Yeah.
menu, a salameria, like meats and cheeses, small desserts, very small dishes, small bites.
ADA access?
There is a so it's a step up platform on the outside of the space. If we need to, we could buy a ramp for ADA access, but all of the bathrooms and the space itself is ADA compliant, but wheelchair access into the space is constrained by the platform currently.
Right, and how many
And
bathrooms?
there's really
do you
not.
have? Important question.
There's one bathroom downstairs for employees, and then there's one bathroom upstairs for guests, customers.
Handicap bathroom upstairs.
It is
Correct.
handy. It's accessible.
Accessible.
I would
Yes,
just like to
correct.
point out for the other committee members that there is another space somewhat nearby on Lisbonard Street that also caters to a younger crowd, and that's Bel Rev. So this would not be the only such place on the street.
No, well, no, correct. But what I was trying to make a point of is we're not trying to attract necessarily
crowd.
a young crowd. This is
Right.
more for.
What you said.
I mean, there's a lot of families that live in the area, and older people that maybe they do want to go out to places where young people are congregating, but we're looking for more of a nighttime adult spot for a bit of a mature crowd compared to that of Bel Rev or Paul's or other places in the area, which naturally attract probably a younger audience.
So your hours of operation are Friday and Saturday, you're asking till 2 a.m. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. And the rest of the days till 1 a.m. If you were to have any kind of sidewalk, whatever you're allowed, we do not allow till 1 a.m. on the sidewalk. So we would put that in a stipulation.
That's fine.
I think I'm trying to think what our hours are. Jen, I'm having a blank. We usually, certainly Sunday, not past 10. And
Right.
The rest of the week, it wouldn't be past, since it has residents there, it wouldn't be past midnight for sure. So just so you know that. But we
Susan, are you talking indoors or outdoors?
well, both.
Oh, thank you.
I'm talking both, dear. I'm not talking just one. I mean, the outdoor, but we're really trying to make it work indoor and outdoor now, since nobody else seems to be trying to make people comply. So that's one thing. And I unless there are other questions from the committee, I would like to see if there's any neighborhood people out in the on Zoom who want to say something. Jen?
Yeah, let me double check. But before I do that, Susan, is it okay to just ask a question?
Please,
to the
ask
applicant?
whatever you would like.
I noticed on their questionnaire, they mentioned that they plan to have deliveries made during the hours of operation. So is the committee okay with that? If we're
No.
going hours of operation till 1 a.m., closing
No.
times and deliveries?
The deliveries till 1 a.m.?
No. No, we don't have to.
No, that was.
Thank you, Jen.
Is
No,
that-
we don't allow that. Anyway.
That's fine.
At what time? Our deliveries go from, when do we start? We start at the earliest 7 a.m. on the weekdays, but not on the weekends. And we try to have it no later than 2 or at the latest 4 in the afternoon. No deliveries after that.
Are you talking about deliveries of products coming into our establishment or us delivering a dinner to somebody?
No, I'm not coming into your establishment.
Our deliveries are generally afternoon.
Right.
Okay, good. We'll put that in. And you will have deliveries. You'll have what will you have? You'll have your own deliveries. You'll have whatever it is that's on.
We don't deliver.
Okay. No, you won't have deliveries.
No.
Okay.
Excuse me, but Terry, can we just make sure we got the times right that they're okaying for us? I got a little mixed up the inside and the outside.
So did I. So we'll ask that question right before we.
Let's go back to the hours. Jen, can we get that page back up?
Sure. 1 second.
It is Tribeca. We're going to give you on Friday and Friday and Saturday to be open till 2 a.m. Sunday, our hours, usually we like it to be closed down by, for alcohol service, by 11 on Sundays.
Is that inside as well as outside?
Yeah,
Right there.
I don't think we're expecting that the outside, I mean, like we've all expressed, I mean, this is a very narrow space, and, you know, I think at max, there's room for maybe 1 or 2 tables in front of the space, and then maybe 2 or 3 on the street if we decide to pursue that. But there's really, there's not a lot of space here, so I'm not, you know, I think we're okay with whatever, you know, the board recommends for outdoor seating, you know, limitations of service from a time standpoint, because there's, yeah, it's going to be a relatively small part of the overall operation.
yeah. I don't know whether any of the committee members have any trouble. I don't have any trouble except on Sunday, indoors, till 1 a.m. I have no trouble the rest of the week, but on Sunday we like, you know, since it is residential, I would put you from 12 to 12. Does anybody have any other issues or think we're being unfair?
Yeah, since this is a new establishment, I think this is the appropriate place to have a trial run. And then if they do well, we can give them the later hours. But 2 a.m. to start, it's kind of late, especially since it's a residential building.
You mean even on Friday and Saturday?
Yeah, yeah.
I agree,
Again,
Karen.
Okay.
well, it's also difficult for us to run our business and be closed when everybody else is going to be open at that time.
Right, but they went through that same process. A trial run and then enlargement.
No, not all those places went through a trial run. A trial run is something you've been doing recently. Some of these people have been licensed for quite a while, and they did not go through a trial run.
Well, we've been doing it for years.
With new people,
In
yeah.
the Tribeca area, it has been an issue.
Rebecca's had special rules for at least a decade.
And how long a trial period are
We'll give
you
you,
talking?
so usually we give you 6 months. And if there are no complaints and no issue, you come before us and it's not an issue, but we
Yeah,
like,
when do you plan to open?
yeah, that's a good question. Terry, when do you plan to open?
Zach, when will you guys be ready? You
As
think?
soon as we get okayed by you guys and as soon
Yeah,
as
we're ready. We're ready as soon as
4 months.
as soon as everything is handled with the state legally.
All right, so you in,
December, January?
no, it would be 4 months, so November, December, January, February, probably opening right in the beginning of March, first week of March.
We run around springtime. So
Okay,
let's do
so you
this.
go to the spring, and then if you're, if you're good neighbors, then by the summer, you'll be ready to branch out.
Yeah, I think that
Longer hours anyway.
I will defer to my committee. I like that. So we're going to give you, no matter what, on Sunday, we would like you to close at 12.
Right.
And on the rest of the time, we're going to give you till 1 a.m. Right, everybody? That's what we're saying. And you'll come back to us March, April, May, June, July. You can come back in July. And if you've been a good neighbor, we'll
But Terry,
extend it.
excuse me, that's not 2 o'clock on Friday and Saturday night?
No, they're saying you'll have 1 o'clock. And then after 6 months, if we've operated and not had a problem and come back to them in July, then they will let us, provided we haven't had no problems, have the extra hour on Friday and Saturday.
You have to understand something, everybody. We're not doing this to be, can't think of the word at the moment, but we are trying to protect the neighborhood in the area. And it's not gonna, if you're successful, great, and you'll come back in July, and if there haven't been any issues, but it's the only, way we can have some control in this neighborhood now. And Tribeca has been doing this for a long time. So that's what we're proposing.
My only problem with that is, with all due respect, everybody else in the neighborhood right around there is open till 4. There's a lot of 4 o'clock license. I think 2 o'clock on Saturday, Friday and Saturday is only reasonable.
Well, you're never going to get 4 o'clock again. Let me tell you, we're not doing 4 o'clock anymore.
4 o'clock or 2 o'clock would make us very happy on Friday and Saturday night. I run Tippler up in the meatpacking district, and I'm usually closed and out of there by 2:30 every night of the week anyhow. So I think 2 is reasonable Friday and Saturday night. We're good tenants. I've been in this business. I'm an ex-cop. We do security. We will keep the neighborhood safe. And I just need the 2 on Friday and Saturday.
I think we should stick to our guns. Otherwise, we don't have a policy. And we should be consistent across the board.
I agree.
I agree as well. I'm sorry, Michael, but this is what we're going to do, and you'll come back to us, and hopefully you'll be a
Come
good
back in
neighbor.
June, and then July, you'll be ready to go.
Yeah, we're certainly willing to do that. Absolutely. All
And
right.
then this, you'll be ready for the summer. The longer the daylight savings time, people will be out more.
Yeah. All right.
As
You can come to us in June. We're not.
as a final thought on this, as a resident of the neighborhood, I do respect and appreciate the perspective here. I would hate to see the neighborhood. I understand the hesitation, and Michael, I think that this is something that we can work around for a period of 6 months. So
We're not even giving you 6 months. Take what we're giving you. That my committee is doing this is pretty good. So you come back in
Yep.
June. All right.
Come back in June, and you'll be okay.
You'll be okay.
understood.
That's fine.
Susan,
Yeah.
Thank you.
there's a number of members of the public who would like to
Please.
speak on this application.
Okay. Let them speak.
So we have an attendee here, Bradley Silverbush. I'll unmute him.
Oh, a former member of our committee.
Hi, Bradley, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me now?
Who's this? Bradley. No,
Bradley
somebody.
Silverbush.
Okay. I thought you said Tiffany. All right, Bradley, speak up, please. Tell us
Yes.
what you think.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
I've been listening very attentively, and I'm somewhat surprised for a number of reasons. But first and foremost, there was a requirement that notice be given to the public of this at least 15 days in advance of the hearing, and that was not provided. And then I hear from today that there was an amended application submitted this afternoon that talks about soundproofing when there is no soundproofing. And I would ask that any decision on this be tabled for the next meeting so I can continue my efforts to obtain signatures to a petition that I submitted earlier this afternoon to Ms. Maldonado with almost a dozen signatures opposing this, with good reason, I might add. There are already 17 establishments within 500 feet of this location. In addition, you have the Tribeca synagogue located right around the corner. If it was drawn in a straight line, it would be slightly over 200 feet, which would mean the committee couldn't even grant permission. But because it's not measured that way, the 200-foot rule doesn't apply. But right. The fact is, there are nearly a dozen people already complaining about the noise, about the people loitering about on the weekend, about drinking on the street. I used to work right around the corner at corner of White and Broadway from 1982 to 2009. I spent at least 12, 13 hours a day, every day of my life, except for occasionally weekends. And I've seen how drastically this neighborhood has changed. And you know what, Madam Chairperson? You mentioned the Bell Rev. That has been a debacle. I can only imagine the complaints that the neighbors have made regarding that establishment.
So I have a question, Mr. Silverbush, and I have a question to Michael and his partners. Has this venue been operating under a different ownership, or is it the same ownership? Or, I'm confused, because my understanding, Bradley, is this is a new application with new ownership. And this, I don't know what was existing there before, so I'm asking the question.
It
The
was
current
not-
owners have been operating.
Wait.
I apologize. I thought you were asking me.
Well, go right ahead, and then I'll call on Karen.
Mr. Normandin and his partners have been running an establishment there for several weeks without obtaining the necessary permit to sell alcohol or to distribute alcohol. There have been parties going on there regularly. As I said, I have a dozen signatures on a petition I submitted to all of you earlier today that vehemently oppose this. People can't sleep at night because of all the noise emanating, especially in particular from the skylight, which is not insulated. The application that they originally submitted says no insulation. I'm
Correct.
shocked to hear them say otherwise today, but there is no insulation, and people are up in arms, and that's why they've asked me to speak on their behalf today.
Zach, could you explain your situation to him and to the board, please, so they understand that you built the place? You tell them what you do. You market your soda company there, and you explain to them.
Well, before you explain, before we go into this, what I guess I really have to ask is, have you been operating this as a bar?
No.
It's the real question.
Zach has had private parties there for his soda company. It has not sold any liquor. It has not done anything like that. This is a place that he built to market a soda company. And then when he realized it wasn't working, he brought me in as an operator to run it as a lounge.
Madam Chairperson, may I respond to that?
Yes, you may.
We hired a 22-year veteran of the NYPD, licensed private investigator, to go there this past weekend, who secured video and audio evidence that, if I was permitted to present that, would totally contradict the statement just made by Mr. Barrett.
So this is what I'm going to say, if I can. I don't want to belabor this, and I think the committee, we're kind of blindsided by this in some ways. Wait, let me finish. And so I would like to postpone this till November and have you repost the notices and all the things you're supposed to do and show us, and come back in November. You now have some chance to answer these complaints, to see what else you can do, but we're not going to vote on it tonight. We're going to put it over, and we will send a letter to the SLA telling them that we are putting it over for another month. Okay.
Can I just want to put something on the record, please?
Please do.
We notified the community board of this application in July. And I had been contacting the community board through the end of July and August and September about getting on one of the agendas. And it was finally after I continued that we finally were put on this agenda. And now we're being put off again. So, I just want to finish. Just give me my.
I'm sorry. Go right ahead.
Okay. So I just realized that, if we weren't really concerned about the community board, I could have just filed my application 30 days after July, but I would never do that. All right. We wanted to come to the community board, and we wanted to let them hear what we were doing. So you're putting us off to November. I can't stop you from doing that. That's okay. But please realize that this is costing us a great deal in the fact that now we'll be 4 months after our notification.
Well, just a minute. I'm listening to you, but you weren't going to open till after the first of the year, supposedly. That's what you told us. So
no, right.
That's what you said. I know you have to go to the SLA, et cetera.
We can't go to the SLA until we have a meeting with you. That's what I'm saying. It's delayed another month.
We're going to.
Susan, can I ask a question?
Yes.
Is there the public notice in the packet?
Yes, it was posted. We gave Jennifer photos of it being posted. She acknowledged that she received those photos of it being posted, so it was posted.
I don't know when it was posted. I haven't looked at them. I'm.
You know, sometimes they give it to us in the packet. They should give us the pictures of the newspaper with the
Yeah,
sign there.
Jen, do we know when it was posted?
We do. It was
In
posted.
July. We notified you in the middle of July, and now we're 4 months later. And now you want us to wait another month. Zach is.
No, my question is about when you put the signs outside for the community, for the residents, not when you contacted Jen. Jen, do you have proof of when they posted?
They were posted back in. I can tell you.
Zach is muted for some reason. Could we?
Well, he can unmute himself, or Jen will unmute him. But
Just to answer your question,
yeah,
they were posted on September 20. Hold on one second. September 28th. They were posted. The photographs were taken, and the email was sent over to Jennifer.
okay. All right, I'm still going to postpone you. There are two other people who want to speak. I'm going to give you each 2 minutes because I don't want to belabor this, but we're postponing you till November. I'm sorry, I have to listen to responses, and I'm sorry for you, but that's what we're going to do. Who else wants to speak, Jen?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Appreciate it.
We have Stephen Rand followed by Alex Lloyd. So I'll go ahead and unmute Stephen Rand.
Okay, Mr. Rand, you've got 2 minutes, please.
Okay, I am the owner of 291 next to Zach's Bar. This has been a constant problem. The noise has been coming through the wall. It's been coming up the back. I have signatures of, I think, 24 of my neighbors who have been bothered by this. He's had parties every weekend. Crowds are outside, standing underneath our bedroom. It is a major problem. Yeah, it's just not appropriate for our block. It's been a horrible situation. He's already received 4 or 5 noise complaints at 1 or 2 a.m. in the morning.
All right, Mr. Rand, thank you. And please come back in November and send the information to the community board. We are postponing it. We're not making a decision.
Thank you.
And if anything continues for the next month, please let us know. We would like to know. Who's the next person, Jen?
We have Alex Lloyd.
Okay, Alex Lloyd.
No.
Shoot.
There.
Okay. I just had a question of whether there are rules about amplified music in the sidewalk sheds. That's one thing I've noticed is sometimes an issue on the next block down, just below the Tribeca Grand.
This is not Zach.
I don't know. Does anybody know? I'm not, I'm not quite sure what you're asking in relationship to this, Mr. Lawrence.
Oh, if they had said that they were hoping to have a sidewalk shed as part of the program. And I know the indoor stipulations will say things like you can have music, but no live music or and so forth. And I wasn't sure if the liquor license stipulations talk about outdoor amplified music as well, if that's a lever.
Yes, we can. And we have changed a number of things that we're incorporating. Absolutely.
Okay, so I imagine it's moot now until next month, but
yes.
Okay.
All right.
Susan, do you need a motion to table, or you can just do this?
I don't. Let's take a motion. Can everybody raise your hands and on your whatever's on your chat, if you would agree that we're going to postpone it? I think I can make that decision, Mariama. I don't think.
Okay, I just wanted you to be able to. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure.
I think
okay.
I can be arbitrary and capricious. All right, we're going to table. I've got everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a nice evening.
Yeah, bye. Okay. So, all right, let's go. Let's start at 465, right, Jen?
465.
No, 6 Murray Street.
Okay. Oh, all right. 6 Murray is between is on between what and what? Church and West Broadway?
Broadway, no, Broadway and Church.
Broadway and Church. Okay. Oh, hello, Max.
Hello, Susan.
Mm.
Hello, everyone. My client is here too, Jen. I don't know if you see him and can promote him, Peter
Yes.
Rafano.
Yeah.
Great, thank you so much. Good, we hear you, Pete.
Okay,
Let me know when you're ready for me, Susan.
I'm ready, but let's put it up, Jen, so everybody can see. You have to make it a little bigger. Great. Okay. Keep going. It's an issue with the hours. You know that, Max. Keep going.
We'll
So,
talk about it.
yeah. Go back a minute, Jen, to the last page. I want to know the how many people. So you have 48 seats, and the bar area has 10.
Yeah.
So the capacity is what, about 67 people? 60?
Well, the certificate of occupancy, which we have, says 74, so that's what we put. But
Okay, you make it a large venue. Yeah, all right. Keep going. You having recorded music?
yes,
Okay. You have a menu, and has the owner, the hospitality, do they have other restaurants in the city, other?
not in the city, although he's opening 2 more in Community Board 5. He has a restaurant in, first of all, he's got 20 years of experience, but he has a restaurant in his own name in Long Island that he recently sold.
Can you tell us what is in this, else is in the building and what is next door to it? I'm trying to picture it.
Sure, I want to give you my whole spiel. I was just waiting for Susan to say I can go.
Go.
Good evening. Thank you, Susan, and good evening, CB1. My name is Max Bookman. For those who don't know me, I'm an attorney. With me is Pete Rafano. He is the owner of Tribeca Social, and we'll talk about him and the concept, answer everyone's questions, including the question that was just asked. So yes, this is on Murray between Broadway and Church. The space itself has been licensed for decades. I can confirm it went back to at least 1996. It went by many names over the years: Nathan Hale's Bar and Grill, Barbecue and Blues, Katie Connolly's Copper Barrel. Speaking with Miss Epstein, who is a member of the public who lives on the block, I believe she told me that she thinks that there's been a full liquor license here, or I think in her words, or a bar here going back to the 70s. Is what I remember her saying. So it's a long history of licenses. So what are we doing? So the people involved are Pete Rafano, who I mentioned. Just a little background on him. He's got some roots in the neighborhood, although he didn't grow up here. He went to Pace. He did his undergrad at Pace, graduated in 05. He got an MBA at Pace, graduated in 07. He lived in the neighborhood before moving out to Long Island. About 20 years of F&B experience. And as I mentioned, he had a liquor license in his own name up until recently, a restaurant he opened in Long Island, which did so well that he sold it. So this would be his second liquor license, and he's also currently applying for 2 more in the Community Board 5 area. He's also done some hiring, 2 important hires. He's hired a manager who used to work at, be a manager at a Cipriani. And he's hired as a consultant, Chris Nershell, who's on Food Network, on Chopped. He's a well-known celebrity chef. He's not an owner, he's a consultant, and he's going to be working with us on the food menu It's a modern American food menu. Steak, salmon, but nice and elevated. Burgers as well. We have the menu. Hours, 1 a.m. Weeknights, 2 a.m. weekends. Here's all the things that we're not doing. No outdoor space, including no DOT outdoor seating, either on the sidewalk or the roadway. Recorded background music only, that fits your definition. No subwoofers, no DJs, no live music, no dancing, no promoted events, no cover fees, no bouncers sitting out front. Last thing I'll just say before I open it up to questions is outreach. We were originally on for your September agenda. Before that meeting, we did petition signatures. We got about 1.5 pages of petition signatures. Several of them are from Murray Street. In advance of the September meeting, we heard that some folks in the neighborhood had seen our postings and wanted to know more. So we volunteered to put this over to October so we could have time to speak with those individuals. I want to thank Lucienne and thank Jen for facilitating those conversations. It was greatly appreciated and super helpful. We were able to get in touch with some members of the neighborhood. Ms. Epstein, I mentioned, was the main one. I'm not sure if she's here tonight. I don't speak for her, but I know she submitted a letter, an email yesterday to Lucienne. And I think Jen as well, recapping the meeting that she had with Pete yesterday evening at the restaurant. Where her comments were generally positive, although she did have, she wanted, I think, slightly earlier hours. I think what she was asking for was 1 hour earlier than what we're asking for. I think I'll just stop there. We're happy to answer questions that anyone has.
Karen, you have a question?
Oh, I have a couple of comments. First of all, this is a residential building, which is, you know, an important fact. Secondly, the hours are a little bit on the late side, and I would say the same thing that we said to among the many things we said to the last applicant, which is that since this is new to our neighborhood, this is another establishment that if we approve it, should have a trial run at an earlier hour.
Could you show us the hours, Jen, please?
Yeah, while Jen's pulling that up, no one likes the trial run. I heard what you had to say, and you have good reasons for it. The only pushback I would give here, and you'll take it for whatever it's worth, is that maybe, although Pete is new to your neighborhood, a full liquor license isn't. It's got a long history of liquor licensing here.
Yeah, but you know, Max, you know where we are. So,
Susan, I have a question.
Yeah.
Max, it's Darren Turkfudian. If the focus here is modern American food, why do we need a 2 a.m. closing time on the weekends?
Well, what we said on our 30-day notice, Darren, and what we're clear about here is that it's a restaurant and bar, and there is a bar that's on our floor plans. And although the cuisine is modern American and it meets the legal definition of restaurant, it's not going to be a restaurant that closes at 11 p.m. or something like that. We're going to want to feed people until late.
Okay, thanks for that. Now, is the layout going to stay the same? I'm familiar. You mentioned Nathan Hale's and the other spots. Layouts all were reasonably the same between Nathan Hale's in the early 2000s all the way up to whatever the last place was in that location. How is that going to change that you're aware of?
I'll let my client speak to that. Pete, the question is, are you making any major changes or to the way the space is laid out? I don't think he's doing any major construction, but Pete, will you just briefly answer that question?
No, we just did a more elegant cosmetic renovation, like an elevation, wallpaper, lights, things like that. We added, I think it's 12 seats from what Manhattan proper had in the dining room in the center. But nothing structural, just we added some more seats in the center that they had a little bit open.
Okay, so you added 12 dining seats?
Dining seats. We didn't change the CFO. We just altered it. Added 12 seats in the middle.
Cosmetically. Karen, what would you propose? Let me just ask you.
I'm sorry, you asking me?
I'm asking you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, I would chop an hour off it for weekends and weekdays, given that it's a residential building. And if there are no complaints at the end of, I would say at least June, if not July, then Max can come back with his client and ask for more. But in a residential building, we have to be really careful.
I think so. I don't disagree. Does anybody have, Mariama, you had your hand up?
Yeah, did he say there was a letter from Susan Epstein? If so, I'd like to see it.
Or Jen, you can tell us, what does it say?
Because Murray Street's been, I mean, in general, has been problematic for a very long time in terms of the bars and restaurants over there. And Susan has been a very trustworthy guide as to which places we could feel comfortable giving a license to and which places we should not.
I could read it out if you want, if Jen can't
What
find
did
it.
she say? She said to give you an hour less?
She said some nice things, and then after she said the nice things, she said, of course, we'd like to see earlier closing hours of Sunday to Thursday, 12 a.m., Friday to Saturday, 1 a.m.
Okay.
So she agrees with us. Okay, that's great.
Let's go. I would like to get this done.
Call the question.
Yeah, go, Mariama. Oh, call the question, yeah.
Seconded.
We have your deliveries in there, all the stuff. You did your Q's and T's and P's and I's. We're gonna do 12 and we're gonna do 1, and you can come back in you can come back in June, so we could give you July. We're willing to do that. When do you open?
You didn't give me a chance to be a mensch and say, yes, okay, we'd like to agree with the community board.
Max. You're pretty good. All right, so can we take a vote? I'm going to do it this way. Somebody call the question, and you call the question, Miriam. Is somebody second, please?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
Second.
Any recusals? Any no's? I think we're all yeses, and go for it, Max.
Thank you, and thank you again to Jen for facilitating the conversation we had with the neighbors. It's appreciated.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Good evening.
Good luck, because you got a lot of competition with.
And I'm going to see you all next month. I'm going to see you all next month because I'm representing the Greenwich Hotel in that application that you heard Matt talk about. So we'll have a great meeting next month on that one.
Let's hope, Max.
It'll be great. They've been doing a lot of great work. You're going to like what they've come up with.
All right.
All right. Good night.
Take care. Good night. Next one, Jen.
The next one would have been under the renewals, which is for 279 Church Street, an alteration / method of operation change. Although I do not see the applicants here, so I'm just
we'll postpone it.
Yeah.
Why are we putting alterations in renewals?
No, that doesn't belong there.
Well, how we reviewed it before is that unless the alteration is more than a minor alteration.
We have been looking at it, guys.
Yeah, so usually for minor alterations, we list them under the renewals, but if it's more than a minor alteration, so let's say to add space to the second floor bar, for example, then we'll move it up as a discussion / possible resolution item.
But they're not here. That's why. All right, so we'll move along. And what about 456? Oh, we did that. Oh. So we're done with Tribeca. We have some renewals here that don't, unless somebody has some trouble with them, we can move on to the financial. What?
We have 96 Lafayette Street, the method of operation change for LiveX.
Oh, yes, I forgot about them. Oh, yes, I pass them all the time. So put it up, Jen, because this is a biggie, everybody. I'd like you to look at it. It is on Lafayette. Remember, it's the axe. You can throw axe. We approved it, I guess, over a year ago or two. And you go downstairs and you throw axes. So
and
now I'm going to do a
down the street from the homeless shelter.
That's exactly right.
On the same block.
On the same block, and then on the same block as NYU dorm.
Yep, now that's right. Yep.
Yep, a lot of action on that little block right there.
We have Zach Siegel, who's representing for 96 Lafayette. Zach, whenever you're ready, you can unmute yourself to speak, and I'll pull up the presentation.
Yeah, why don't you pull up the presentation?
Hey, how are you guys? My name is Zach Siegel. I'm the owner of LiveX, actually. Overall, we've been operating for some time. I think we've been doing great service for the neighborhood. I think right now we are probably top 5 best reviewed places in New York City in Google reviews. People seems to like what we do. The main problem is, I don't know if it's COVID or just general being a business in New York. You know, we are a large venue, almost 9,000 square feet. We don't have enough hours of the day to make the month. Most customers come in at 7. It's a big venue, and a big change that we had to do during COVID is that the original business plan was, let's say there is a couple renting out a cage. We basically going to fill out that cage for a certain time until the cage is full. So basically, if there is a 2 and then a 3 and then a 2, we'll put 8 people in one cage throwing the axe. Obviously, with a cage captain, everything is very safe. Just since COVID is basically impossible, legal, law-wise, and obviously people preference as well. So we basically separate in every group. It could be the smallest of 2 people or 3 or 5 in their own cage. So instead of having the place full, potentially we cannot even have that option. So we definitely need more hours. At the same time, we do want to bring some more excitement to the venue. We want to try to bring like local artists to, I don't know, to play a guitar, to put some music, actually accommodating corporate events that are being a lot of requirements lately to actually, you know, if they want to bring their own DJ. So basically we're asking for 2 things. We're asking for longer hours so we can actually survive the month. This is a big change of business plan from having multiple people in one cage and having separate reservation in every cage. And as you know, cage is real estate, and real estate is expensive in New York. But overall, I can tell you that we are on a commercial block. We don't have any residential next to us. We got 0 complaints. We've been doing great business. Customers love us.
You haven't had dancing or music. Am I correct?
We have music, just not DJ music or an artist playing, but the music is on. It's just it's a recorded music.
I remember
it would be the same volume of music. Nothing changed on that. And we completely noise proof as well.
All right. Questions, anybody?
I can actually send you pictures. I sent Jen earlier, and before I wasn't sure how to do it because we kind of lost our lawyer in the process. But I've sent Jen recently some pictures of the venue so you can see it's an axe-throwing venue. It's occupied by cages, and we have some ping pong, great food, great drinks. Everything is super fun, super happy. Yeah, more than welcome to Google us. You see what people think about us.
So the change will be from 12:30 to 1:30?
No. So right now, I'm looking for the maximum. If I'm be able to get 4 a.m., that would be great because I need to extend my hours as much as possible.
So you currently have 12:30 and 1:30?
Right now, I have 12:30 and 1:30. Yes, and which we succeeded.
He wants till 4 a.m.
I just want to sound a note of caution. The last time we had a large venue in the neighborhood which was open until 4 a.m. and there was live music, it was truly hell to pay. People were drunk, they were spilling out into the streets after hours, cars were honking and backing up. Eventually, it attracted crime, violent crime. It really is a problem. The NYU dorm is there. Sometimes the kids get involved. Sometimes they perhaps participate. Sometimes they're disturbed. The rest of us who live on the block, like particularly the people at what's called Mandarin Tower at 376 Broadway can hear this. I personally probably can't, but there are people in my building who can because their windows face north.
Can I respond to that? So
well,
first of all,
I'm not done. What I am referring to, of course, everybody understands is Pepper's Kilimanjaro and so on, which is now long gone after basically traumatizing the neighborhood for years. So if we're going to allow anything like this, I would say certainly not until the maximum. It would have to go in basically, baby steps.
Right.
Until we felt comfortable that Mr. Siegel and his partners could contain it effectively.
Go back to the hours sheet, Jen. We're not going to give you till 4. So,
Can I just respond to what Karen said for a second?
yeah, sure.
First of all, Karen, thank you for your feedback. We are not a nightclub, so we are limited in the amount of alcohol people can drink. Obviously, with the activity with the recreational, it's not a nightclub. 80% of the space is occupied by Axtroin, so we cannot even feed a lot of people in the venue, even if we want to. And second, again, we are not a nightclub. We are a recreational venue that cannot have the same business plan we had before COVID. And I put my life saving on this business, but I cannot feed the same amount of people on a busy hour as I had originally planned, because instead of feeding 8 people or 10 people in one cage, now I'm down to 2 in most reservations.
We understand what it is you're saying, but you're asking for exactly the same kind of hours and entertainment that has been a problem in the neighborhood before.
And it continues to be still. Wait, Zach, let me finish. Jen, could you put up the hours so we can see? It's 12:30 and 1:30, if I'm not mistaken, from what I've read.
It is.
I would propose, everybody, you see what you want to do. I would give him, let Jen get it to us. I don't see it. Keep going, Jen. Not there, the stip sheet.
Do you want the stipulation sheet or the resolution?
Well, I know what the resolution says. I want to see the stip. I want to see it. It's 12:30 Sunday through Thursday and 1:30 Monday through Friday and Saturday. I would propose giving him not on Sunday. I have this thing about Sunday. I don't know why, but I do. I would allow him for the rest of the time for 6 days till 2 a.m. That's what I would propose. And let's see how you go, Zach. Let's see what works. But we're now extending it for the weekdays and at least on the weekends till 2 a.m. I know you've had till 1:30, but we're not going to give you. I just don't think we can do it. So that's what I would propose. I don't know what my committee
From
thinks.
Monday through Saturday, 2 a.m. and Sunday, 12:30.
Yeah.
Mhm. What about security? What kind of security is going to be provided? I don't know if I see it on the previous resolution.
So right now, only when we expected busy nights, we use security. Again, this is most of the times we have families here, like obviously earlier hours, but this is not the kind of venue that, we use security. It's not a nightclub. This is not the vibe.
I understand, Zach, but you have music, you're gonna have live music. It's a change of venue. We're being more cautious than usual, but we're giving you, we are giving you something. So
Can I ask just for one thing? Because, we said baby steps, and I agree, I agree to accept your opinion on it. But like half an hour extension, it's not even a baby step. It's a mini baby step. Maybe we can just do the hour extra. So instead
It's
of
an hour and a
1:30 would
half
be,
every other day.
yeah. So just for the weekend days, it would be 2:30. So 2 a.m. every weekday, and then 2:30 an hour extra. That would be actual definition for a baby step.
I'm willing to hear my committee.
I'm good.
I'm good too.
Thank you.
I am good, but you're gonna have to, when we hear a complaint, you're in big trouble, kid.
Listen, I'm here 14 hours a day. This business is my life. And first of all, you guys are all invited to have fun. We had multiple birthdays for different ages, so I'm sure you're gonna have fun as well here, and you can all come and visit.
All right, so let's be very clear. Sunday is 12:30. Monday through Thursday is till 2, Friday and Saturday 2:30. Okay, everybody?
And security, if there's any problem outside.
Of course, 100%. Trust me, there's nothing I care more about this business and make sure everybody's is continue doing business here.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna take a vote.
Okay, perfect. you want to do a roll call? Or you want to do it how you did it for 6
I
months?
like doing it my way. It's fast. So,
Go ahead.
Call the question.
yes, ma'am.
Can someone second, please?
Second.
Okay. Any recusals?
I'm
Any-
gonna abstain.
Okay, Karen will abstain. I forgot to ask that last time. And abstentions, any noes? Okay, Zach. It carries.
All right, Susan, Karen, and everybody else, thank you for your time. And obviously, again, come visit. You will have fun in this space.
Well,
I'm
good
telling
luck. Don't
All right.
make us regret it, okay?
you. No, you won't. All right. Thank
Bye-bye.
you, guys. Bye-bye.
Okay.
So Susan, the next item we have on the agenda is for 325 Church Street. That's the expansion onto municipal property. So I don't know if before we go into this item, if you would like to just do a sort of a very short recap of that stipulation sheet that was reviewed at large venues.
Yes.
Since it would be applicable for licensing.
Okay, everybody. Jen, put it up.
Will
We
do.
came up, Tammy had made a suggestion to us. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jen. That community board, which community board 3, 5,
Yes.
3, had put up a stipulation sheet for expansion onto municipal properties. And it is there in front of you. And that anybody who is asking for an expansion would have to fill this out and sign it. And it is it is as best a protection as we could think about. They use it in 3 and this is what it is. She had sent us an information on this.
Should we do the vote for the whole resolution now, the large venue resolution?
No, just
one?
this one.
Just
Oh,
this
you
part?
want to do it all? We could do it all.
We can
but-
do both.
Yeah, let's do both. Good call, Mariama. Thank you. So this is, if you read it, it's a very good, the first one, the stipulation, and that we would ask these people, if it's this municipal property, it's to have some control. You know, we have very little control. It's to try to do the best we can. That's number one. And that's in front of you. And the next is the large venue, which we worked very hard on. In Miriama's committee and us, but we have to vote on it in licensing. And it is a very, I think it's a reasonable proposal, which we will make a stipulation sheet for it as well. We talked about it at the meeting. And large venue, for everybody to know, and Miriama, pipe in please, is if it's 75 people or more. And it is 75 for inside and 200, am I correct, Miriam?
Mhm.
Outside. And we've added some language, and we still have some language to do, which will go before the meeting around qualifying of public assembly. Karen was on the committee, Miriama, Francis, Duran, and we tried to get this so that we have some clout around this large venue, which we're going to be getting more of. And I forgot to ask
And
Zach.
the final whereas on here refers to the new stipulation sheet that Jen just brought up as well.
So if anybody has any questions around this, ask us.
And again, if I can pitch in, Susan, and going back to the, I'll go back to the resolution, but I'm just going to go back to the stip sheet for a second here. This was raised by Tammy. She really suggests that moving forward, that Community Board 1, well, Manhattan Community Board 1 implements this to just to ensure that we ask every applicant that comes before licensing for stipulations regarding roadbed and sidewalk seating. That we add this stipulation sheet as an addendum to our existing questionnaire form. So, you know, that being said, she proposed that we would raise this at licensing, and if it's okay, then we can officially vote on this to actually add this to the questionnaire form.
So does anybody have any question? if you're all in agreement, let's do this as a roll call vote, Jen, so we're all okay?
Sure. Okay. And I'll go ahead. and-
Somebody propose it, give me a second. Call the question and give me a second on this. Anybody?
What happened?
Call the question and
Oh,
give
call the
me,
question, I'm sorry.
and give me a second, please, somebody. Okay, so call it, Jen.
Sure. Okay. Let me just stop sharing my screen.
Please.
Okay. So starting off with Susan.
Yes.
Okay. Mark, he is not here. Oh, Megan, are you there?
Yes. Yes.
Daron?
Yes.
You have me?
Yes, we do, Megan.
Megan, thank you. Francis?
Okay,
Yes.
thanks.
Yes, okay. Michael? Oh, Michael? I'll get back to him.
Can we do a second call for Michael?
Yeah. Mitch is not here. Mariama?
Yes.
Okay. Joel?
Yes.
Okay. Pat? I don't see her here. Chow?
Yes.
Okay. Jean? I don't see her here. Karen?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Michael Francor, are you there? I see him, Susan, but he's not. Let me unmute him.
Unmute him.
I cannot unmute him. I'm not sure if he's having technical difficulties.
All right, well, we can, all right. How about Detta?
Oh, she's not part of the committee, but she is a public member.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if someone has Michael's number. If you shoot him a text, see if he has his vote.
But Susan, thank you for thinking of me.
Why not? My pleasure.
Committee.
All right, so
with all the votes in, yeah, with all the votes in and counted, the motion passes.
Great.
For the resolution in conjunction with the stipulation sheet for the expansion onto municipal property.
Okay, so moving right along, we now have to go to, what's the one I have to go to? I have to move,
325 Church Street.
Yeah.
And it's also the same applicant for another establishment at 1 Lisbon Street. So we have the representative for both applications here tonight. Their name is Nicole Tejeda. So Nicole, I'm going to unmute you. Are you there?
Hi, good evening. This is Nicole speaking. I'm the legal representative for both 325 Church and Nancy Whiskey. Do you hear me?
yes,
Yes.
for 325 Church and,
Nancy Whiskey, Inc.
okay,
Mm-hmm.
all right.
So we pretty much applied for both locations for the DOT permit, which was approved. We had to then follow through with submitting the diagram to SLA and giving the community board a 30-day notice of what the current situation was when it came to the DOT permit. Both agencies pretty much approved the permit. It was just more, let's say, a requirement of letting the community board know that we are holding this municipal expansion. And I received an invite from Jennifer, and this is pretty much why I'm here now.
Okay, well, you will have to sign our license stipulation and have it notarized.
Yes.
All right, You
Yeah.
are willing to do
Okay.
that?
Of course.
And you saw the hours and the seating and everything else. You've read it?
Correct.
Okay.
I saw it.
All right.
That's fine.
Any question? Where is Nancy Whiskey? Or is it the same thing? I'm so confused.
Susan, I'll pull up
Nancy
the other
Whiskey is on.
application.
Oh, sorry. So Nancy Whiskey is between West Broadway and Lisbonard Street. And 325 Church is on Church Street between Lisbonard and Canal Street.
Are they contiguous? Are they next? I'm trying, I know we're one.
Susan, they're a block apart along the line.
Okay.
But what's the address?
One is at one
For
less
which one?
and one is at Church.
No, but there's
Yes.
325 Church Street, but then what's Nancy Whiskey? What's that address?
One Lisbonard Street. It's on top of the diagram. It's showing the address on top.
Oh, so we're back in Tribeca. Okay.
Yeah, it's on the corner. It's the corner where there's an entrance to the Canal Street A train stop.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Karen. I don't.
May I
Yeah.
just ask a question just for it to be entered in the record here?
Yeah,
I'm gonna
please.
ask Nicole a couple of questions. It's just pretty much based it off from the slip sheet. But can Nicole confirm that the licensee will close all outdoor seating by 10 p.m. for both of these establishments? Or if that's
Yes.
the case, okay.
Yeah,
And
that's no problem.
can you also please confirm the number of tables and chairs for both establishments, please?
Yes.
Yes, for Nancy Whiskey, there are there are 4 chairs on the roadway seating area. 4 tables, I'm sorry. Each table has 4 seats, and then there are 2 tables on the sidewalk with 4 chairs as well, each table. So a total of 6 tables and chairs would be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14, 24 chairs.
Since this really abuts the subway entrance, I'm trying to picture how the leftmost part of the drawing relates to the subway entrance. There's a table there with 4 seats. And if my memory is any good, the subway entrance is maybe 10 feet or less to the left of that. So the problem there might be that traffic in and out of the subway.
I'm sorry. The 2 tables on the sidewalk are not always placed outside. For some reason, the owner does take them out here and there, but they're not. They're normally not there. He mostly uses just the roadway seating area. So if it's not possible to hold those tables there, we wouldn't mind removing them.
Why don't we remove them?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Put that in our.
Because at rush hour, I can just see people, swarming over that table and chairs. It doesn't make sense.
And Joe has made a point before around all this. I think we just remove them.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Can you also confirm?
Go on, Jen. Continue, please.
Can you also confirm, sorry, the number of tables and seats for, or I didn't catch it, for 325 Church Street?
For 325, there are it's only roadway seating. 4 tables. Each table has 4 chairs. 16 chairs in total.
Okay, so 16 chairs and
4 tables.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
So Susan, I'm filling out the stipulation sheet as we go. Again, this would have to be taken offline for the applicant to sort of just go ahead and sign the sheet.
Fine.
and have this reviewed by the office before it becomes official and sent to the DOT as well as SLA.
As well as the SLA. Okay. Is that all right, Ms. Tejada?
Of course.
All right. Okay. So can I have a call the question in a second, please? For this alteration? Hello?
Call the question.
Hello.
And a second?
Seconded.
Thank you very much. I thought that was Michael's voice. Anyway, any recusals? Any no's? It goes. All right, Ms. Tejada. Okay,
All right. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
good night. All right, guys. So, unless there's anything else on, that we have the financial committee, the financial district, and the resolution for us.
Thanks, I'll be down.
Bye. Is, the issue is 24 John Street. They were gonna start with that. And let's keep moving along so we don't stay here forever. And if you all remember, there was an issue with 24 John Street a while back. A number of the neighbors complained about smoking and difficulty outside. And it is a hotel, if I'm not mistaken. Am I correct, Jen?
It is. Well, they're applying to license the bar and lounge within the hotel premises. Yeah.
This is a new space, or did they not have it licensed before?
That the applicant can answer. But just to be clear, because I did ask them as well, they're not applying for a hotel liquor license.
What are they applying for? Why am I confused?
An on-premise liquor license, so that's separate from a hotel liquor license.
So this is open to the public at all times that they're requesting.
Right.
Am I correct?
Yeah. It can't be open to just hotel guests only, right?
Right. So this is for public, in and out, all of it. All right, just so everybody understands.
Right. We have a counsel here, Thomas McLellan. Thomas, you're able to unmute yourself, and I'll pull up the presentation in a bit. We also have a number of neighbors here to voice their concerns for this application.
All right, let's look at the application and let the representative open it up.
Can you hear me? This is Thomas McCallan.
We can hear you, Thomas.
Okay, good. Thanks.
Thomas, whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and start.
Good evening, everyone. My name's Thomas McCallan. I'm here representing the application for Hyde Lounge, Inc. You may know this premises as the Artisan Hotel. It is a hotel. It's a transient hotel. And the distinction being, if you have a hotel liquor license, there are different privileges and different regulations. We're not a hotel license. A hotel license has privileges whereby you could have room service, you could have mini bars, and you're required to have a full service restaurant open to the public. We filed for an on-premises liquor license to have more of a cocktail lounge on the 20th and the 21st floor for guests of the hotel. And the ABC law, the Alcohol Beverage Control Law, requires that you need to be open to the public. And that's where we are. So again, the hotel's been in business since some date in 2019. I have the two principals here, and we're just looking to move forward for the lounge. It's not a full service restaurant. It's a lounge on the 20th and the 21st floor, which are the top floors. There's no outdoor dining on the roof. There's no rooftop. It's 100% contained, and it's essentially two bar lounges. We'll be open from 8 a.m. You'll see the hours in the application to go to 2 a.m. and then a little bit later on Sundays for a brunch right on through. So I think this is important for the board to hear now, is that we did appear back in December of 2017, and we were approved for the almost identical stipulation that we signed. Life got in the way, COVID got in the way, and we're back now. So the hotel has been operational, and we're just looking to have this amenity available. There's going to be the 2 levels, and there's food available. There's a food prep area as opposed to a full service restaurant. And that's what we hear before. I'm willing to answer any questions you have. The owners are on the link here, and if you want to speak to them directly, but I think I can answer most of the questions, but I can't guarantee all of them.
Okay, if I remember correctly, if there are no questions, we can see who's here from the community. The real issue is there are residences nearby. And if I remember correctly, one of the concerns was there was a lot of loitering outside, and they were supposedly going to take care of this, and the neighbors were very concerned. So we had some stipulations put in the resolution, if I'm not mistaken. Does anybody have any questions on this before I open it up?
I do. Question, what is the occupancy of the space?
The space itself, the hotel consists of 89 rooms.
No, I mean for the rest of the area.
Right, it's in the application itself. The lounge area, which will consist of the 20th and the 21st floor, that will be 2,500. Then there's the area we've described in your questionnaire as bar area. That's going to be, I think it's, I'm hard to read this. I think it's 870 square feet, and then food prep area is 300 square feet. There's no specific certificate of occupancy for these 2 floors. The certificate of occupancy is incorporated through the 21-story hotel edifice.
And are people who are not staying at the hotel invited to rent the space?
Oh, there may be a buyout or an event from time to time. They're going to be amenable to that. But again, this is where we're at. It's not exclusive to hotel guests because that's not lawful. So yeah, there may be a buyout from time to time, whether it be a corporate party, an event. There's a million reasons why you may have it, but it will be available 7 days a week. And that's the goal. We're going to include the arts.
One of the large venue places.
Yes, yes.
And John Street, that's a very narrow street. I read some of the comments from the community, and there's a lot of construction going on there. There's several other restaurants that service, alcohol on that block. One of the establishments that the applicant puts in as a reason to have the space is Noble, and Noble was like down the street and around the corner. That's not, that's not in the same vicinity, because there's at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 5 bars or 5 places that sell alcohol on that one block between Broadway and Nassau.
Yeah, but if I could address that, Ms. Curtis, this is a hotel, and this will have very little impact on the quality of life. We're open at 20th and the 21st floors. This is not going to be a magnet. It's an amenity to an existing hotel. The hotel's been around for a couple of years now. So the crowd anticipated is not a nightlife crowd. People aren't going to be queuing up, and it's a relatively small space, even combining the 2 levels.
The community, because I remember before the community was having some issues with the loitering that was going on around there, and that's why I asked the question about the space being available for myself. If I wanted to have a party up there, I could. And that might be a problem for the community.
Well, it's not a problem until it's a problem, because the fact of the matter is,
Yeah.
that's not their proposed method of operation, but they're not gonna, eliminate their ability to have that. That loitering issue, like, again, I can have co-principal Philip Loria address that loitering was during a period in COVID where the hotel was operational, room rates and such were discontinued, and they didn't have a liquor license, and they didn't have lounges. So the discounted prices may have contributed to the loitering. And again, Mr. Loria, if he's here and he can hear me, he can address that, because this is a quality hotel operation, and it's recognized. And right now, we're only looking to improve it. We're not looking to compete with the bars and the restaurants or anything in the area, but we do need to be competitive in the hotel industry, and that's exactly why we're here again. And if I can reiterate, we appeared. We were approved in 2017 with near identical stipulations, and we're back before you again. So if Mr. Loria is here, I can address the applications and the process. But Mr. Loria, if you can hear us, I think you would like to address the board.
Well, I think I'm going to, I'm not sure whether I'm going to wait for Mr. Loria to address us.
I thought it would happen immediately.
I would like to hear some of the community that Frances said she read some of the comments. So I would like to hear if there's anybody from the community, Jen, who would like to speak.
There's a couple of hands.
We do. We have Jonathan Dunner, followed by David Coleman, followed by, yes, so that's what we have so far. And I'm also receiving comments on my chat as well from members of the public. But we can
Okay, why don't you let each person speak, unmute them. And I'm going to ask you to limit it in at least a couple minutes. Just don't go on, because I don't want the meeting to go on forever, but please speak up.
Jonathan Dunner, I have you unmuted.
Great, thank you. Can everybody hear me, please?
Yes, you could speak a little louder.
Okay, I'll try and get closer to the computer. Thank you, Susan, Jennifer, for your help, Lucian, the CB1 staff. You've always heard us out and heard our complaints. If you can remember from April, you actually voted to oppose this liquor license completely, 11-1, 37-0 for the board, based upon complaints from the neighbors. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and read a statement that we prepared, and I'll try and be quick and stick to the pertinent points. My name's John Dunner. I represent the board of the Condominium Association of 71 Nassau Street, the residential building immediately across John Street from the applicant's proposed location at 24 John Street, and 65 Nassau Street, the residential building immediately adjacent to 24 John Street. It's important to note out that in the application, the applicant states that there's only one building adjacent. There are actually 3 to 4 buildings adjacent. There's also conflicting information about whether there's live DJ and live music that they're proposing. I think they state in one section live music, another not. But anyway, I spoke on behalf of our buildings at the April CB1 meeting, where the board approved recommending the outright denial of this liquor license with a vote of 11-1 by the committee, 37-0 by the board vote. We're not sure why we're here again going through this again, but we'd like you to reject the application based on the violation of the state of New York's 500-foot rule. I've talked about this before. People have mentioned it. There are 12 active licenses within the 500 feet area, 6 active code 252 licenses, including the Irish American, the Malt House, the bar at the Holiday Inn, the Ainsworth, the Nobu. There's an application outstanding for the Moxie Hotel and the Claudio. I'd also like to point out at this time that it's highly unusual for a hotel, bar, whatever you want to call it, to not have a restaurant component. Every single hotel that I can think of within our district that has a bar component also has a full service restaurant. So this would be a very unique situation to have. As residents who live adjacent to 24 John Street, we continue to be generally appalled at recent crime and gang related activity that's been documented by the police department. We've had over 80 signatures previously submitted from our residents that we believe the applicant's license will exacerbate an already hostile and volatile location. Serving alcohol late into the night and early morning will create a nuisance to our residents, many whom sleep above the entrance and exit to 24 John. Noise and smoke, guest lines, and traffic are going to be a problem. I'd also like to point out specifically in the 500-foot law, there's what it states on the site, and I'm going to read verbatim about this. If the location is subject to the 500-foot law, the license cannot be issued unless the authority makes an affirmative finding that it's in the public interest to issue the license. This clearly creates a presumption that the license should not be issued. There's no public interest. They talk about cabaret for a second, but they go into 6 bullet points of what to consider within the application. The number and classes of character of other licensed premises within the area that serve liquor. We've already talked about the dozen or so, 6+ with the 252 licenses. Whether they've had all of the government approvals. Again, I'm not sure how they can operate 252 within a hotel, but that's a separate issue for law to figure out. Vehicular traffic, parking, there is no parking. Vehicular traffic is going to be a problem. It's going to increase the noise level on the street. The site has a history of ABC violations at the location. There is documented criminal activity at this hotel, and any other factor or regulation relevant to deciding public convenience. And frankly, the majority of the residents most near to this location are opposed to the license. So for those reasons, we once again urge the Licensing and Permit Committee and members of CB1 to consider the concerns of the resident and deny this application once again. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dunner. Jen, before you let the next speaker speak, I just want to ask a question. And my question is, they have a hotel liquor license. Am I correct?
No, that's not correct. There's no license at the premises, and there has not been a license through the construction delays and moving forward. They're hotel operators, and the focus was on opening and operating the hotel, which is what they've been doing. Now they've gotten to the point in the project where they now can develop and open up the 20th and the 21st floor.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Mr.
And
McCall.
if I could just, if I could just add one more thing, and it is permissible to have what was addressed as a 252. That's the code, the classification for an on-premise liquor license. It doesn't have to be a hotel. It's a hotel that has an on-premise liquor license within it.
Okay, thank you. All right, Mr. Coleman wanted to speak. Jen? Excuse me.
Yeah, the previous, can you guys hear me?
Yes, perfectly.
Okay,
Go
great.
on.
Thank you. I just want to say that the man who spoke previously really, I think, put about 100 nails on the head, and I just want to I just want to add my voice of outrage to his extremely articulate and thorough response. When we were back here in April talking about this, COVID had already turned this neighborhood into a very strange place. Post-COVID, it is much stranger. It is not better. Have Pay students coming back and the Irish American opening up. I mean, this, the entire nexus of John Street, Fulton Street, and Nassau Street has become a really strange place, especially after 5 o'clock. And I just think it is insanity to add to that. So that's all I will say.
Thank you, Mr. Coleman. We have one more person from the community.
We do. We have Andrew Berman here on the line.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hi, thanks for having all of us have the opportunity to speak. I live at 65 Nassau Street. I've been living there for over 20 years and have been serving on our board for most of that time. So I wish to speak for myself as well as the full building. We share a party wall with 24 John Street, and I can tell you just from the daily experience of living at the corner of Nassau and John Street that we live in what is an extremely loud location. And every nightclub, every bar, every rooftop music venue adds to that enormously. Traffic is very loud, as was noted in the introduction to this application. John Street is very narrow. There are no parking spaces. The bar immediately across the street, the Irish American establishment, has a outdoor seating venue that cuts into John Street. So it takes no imagination to know that a venue at the Artisan is going to be the source of noise at the street level for the sake of queues, smokers, who will certainly be congregating out there at all hours, and the traffic that will be delivering people. In addition to that, there's going to be many more inebriated people out on the street. It's, as David Coleman just said, it's already a serious problem on our street, given the density of bars. And another major issue is that we are going to hear the activity within the hotel in our building. We have a residential building. It's full of families, as are a number of the buildings immediately adjacent to 24 John Street. Across the street, our building, and then off the back of 24 John Street are a number of other residential buildings on Maiden Lane and further up John Street. So all of us are going to bear the consequences of the after-hours noise, the after-hours inebriation, the increased traffic. And the final issue I'd just like to underscore is that during COVID, 24 John Street became a plague. It was the source of brawls. It was daily drug dealing there. So there was an awful lot of traffic from buyers. There was an awful lot of police activity. We were all awoken one night after a gunfight spilled out of the hotel. The gun was actually dropped on the doorstep of our building at 65 Nassau Street. And I think that that not just single incident, but the period, a long period of problems spilling out of the hotel, are a very firm predictor of what will happen, given if the hotel has to now manage alcohol at all hours on the premises. So that is what I have to say. Thank you for the opportunity to say it.
Thank you, Mr.
So
Berman.
Susan, I had wanted to hear from the community, so I wasn't going to say anything before, but if I can now, I would appreciate it.
Please.
So that hotel, yeah, it was more than just loitering. And as the last speaker mentioned, there was actually it wasn't only even only one shootout. There was more than one shootout there. Quality of Life had to bring in Captain Smith to have a meeting with the community about everything that was going on. And the managers at the time suggested that this stuff was happening because their prices were so low. That may or may not have been the case, but there are other area hotels that were open at the time that had similar, comparative prices. The Moxie, the Aloft, Sheridan, and we didn't have these such events at those hotels. So that was why I think when it moved into licensing the first time, the committee and then the entire board was inclined not to give them a license.
Thanks, Mariama. I'm going to cut this, if I may. I don't see that this is in the public interest at all. And I would not see that we would change our opinion. I think it would be worse since it will be open to anybody. And I think I would say that we would not approve this. I would like to hear from anybody on the committee if they think we should do something different. I think we have to be very careful when we send it to the SLA, because I want to make sure that when we do, that we give all the specifics and that we say about that it's not in the public interest and all the people around it and all the things and the reporting and the quality of life, so that they understand that we are not being arbitrary and capricious when we reject this. Does anybody have any questions on this? If not, I would like to propose that we reject this application. And with all the qualifying, with all the support documentation that we're going to submit. And I need a second and a.
Second.
Call the question?
Okay. So everyone, are there any recusals? Are there any no's? So I am taking it that everyone else is in favor of us rejecting this application. I don't think we have to take a roll call. I have you all here and I'm just going to go forward with it. All right? Thank you. That's it, Mr. Callan. We have nothing more to say. McCallan, sorry.
You got it.
Okay. Jen, 100 Pearl Street?
Right, yeah. We have Heather Kirk here with us for 100 Pearl Street. I'm moving her up to panelist.
Let's get the application up. Hello.
Hi, how are you all?
We're fine. As fine as we're going to be. So let's move on. Let's tell us about 100 Pearl.
So we're missing the applicant, Carrie. I believe she's here from Urban Space.
What did you say the address was?
100 Pearl.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm sorry, Heather, can you repeat her name, please?
Carrie, Kerry.
Okay, got them. Thank you.
Thanks.
One moment, I'll be ready to present your application.
Not easy, is it, Jen? Okay, let's bring it up.
Would you like me to talk, Susan, and kind of walk you through it while we're looking at it?
Please do.
Okay, great. So Bars and Events Pearl Street is an entity that's part of Urban Space. Urban Space has food halls, markets that operate throughout New York City. They also participate and are handling all of the winter markets, like the holiday markets that happen at Bryant Park, 14th Street, and then also Columbus Square, or Columbus Circle, I'm sorry. So this is a food hall. There's going to be 16 vendors. This specific application is for the only OP license, full liquor license, that will be within the food hall. They will have a small bar that has 13 seats. Otherwise, the vendors will participate all in communal seating, which is very common for food halls. There's going to be 50 tables and about 110 seats in the space. Background music only, closed facade, no outside seating. Their hours of operation will be all days 7 a.m. to 12 a.m. No DJ, no live music, no promoters, no ticketed events. There is one error on this page that we're looking at right now. It says number of service bars 13. That's not correct. There won't be any service bars associated with this application.
So it is on the let's call it the north side of Pearl, or the south. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to get.
Susan, it looks like it's opposite the Pearl Street entrance of Ulysses.
That's correct. It's on the corner of Pearl
It's near
and
Hanover Square.
correct.
Right,
Yes.
it's right near Hanover Square.
It's a large commercial building, no residential.
Is it just the one they've been working on that was the Guardian, the,
Yes,
right? Isn't that what it is?
that's the one.
That they closed all the stores and made a new space? Okay. And it's
Where
just.
the Hallmark and everything was?
Yeah, yeah. That's what I understand. And it's going to be a food court, not but will you have large venues there? Will you have people coming in? Will you have, I don't know, tastings, whatever?
The potential partner that's going to be working with Urban Space is Top Hops. This is their menu. Top Hops has some locations in the Lower East Side. They've also participated in the holiday markets. They'll do like beer tastings, and they might do like Oktoberfest, but it wouldn't be like an event where it would close down the market by any means, and it wouldn't be ticketed. It would just be like a flight of, you know, beers to taste type of thing. But again, no ticketed, no, you know, no buyouts, no promoted events or anything like that.
Questions, concerns?
Does the Top Hop have a capacity for their section?
So their section within the food hall, they will have the only actual bar. If you kind of zoom in on the diagram, at the bottom, you see the doors coming in, and then a little bit to the right, you see this like L-shaped bar. That's the Top Hops, or that's the bar, and it'll have 13 seats. And then the rest is tables and chairs that are communal. So someone comes into the food hall, they buy their food from a kiosk, and then they go sit down at any of the tables.
So even if they did have an event, it wouldn't be like people congregating in one area or another. They'd be spread out throughout the food hall. They'd come and take their beer and go sit down somewhere.
Correct. Yeah. So you would grab your food from one kiosk, or you may grab a beer and a bratwurst or something like that from Top Hops, and then you'd go sit down at a table, consume it, and then you would leave. Very similar to like any of the food halls you visited for Urban Space. That similar method.
Megan, you want to say something?
Yeah, Susan, unless I hear something else, I'm very much against this. We can't handle it. You know what it's like down here on a Friday and Saturday. And now we're talking about a food hall serving beer and another Oktoberfest venue. I mean, I don't think you think of a food hall as partiers or revelers, but I think in combination of what is directly across the street and what's going on there, it has the potential to become a complete mess disaster on Pearl Street. And I know we don't like to deny liquor licenses, and I'm sorry, but I just think you're adding to what is already a major storm down here and what's going on. So I'm against adding anything else in such close proximity to Stone Street. I think it's not good news.
So I have a question, Megan, and it's a legitimate. If they wanted to do liquor and change their hours to close at 10, what would you think of that? I mean,
I'll be guided by the committee ultimately, because I know it's difficult to deny a license, but I think this is bad news. Adding any more liquor licenses, especially for something this large, and this isn't a small mom and pop trying to open up. This is a large venue. I think you see the crowds that come down here. You see the people running around. We've already discussed our park and having to take security measures because of the people spilling into our park. This is right across the street, and we're talking about how many seats? But I wouldn't think much about it, except for, You've got Ulysses and all of those people that are out there loitering now. I just, it's going to be, it's going to add to a problem we already have. Saying that, I'll be guided by what the committee feels.
No, I think that the point is well taken. And with this open street, Pearl Street has become a mess for us, and the noise and everything else. It's not just Stone Street, which we have committed to. Give me the hours again.
Susan, can I kind of respond to that? So the hours of operation are 7 a.m. to 12 a.m. And again, this is a food hall. The focus of this space is food. People are coming in to maybe have lunch or have a bite to eat. There's no lingering. People aren't going to be loitering. There's no outside dining whatsoever. This is a commercial building for, you know, people to come in and again, grab a quick bite and a beverage while they eat in a market space.
But you're open till midnight, correct? This is not a lunch crowd.
No,
so if you're serving till midnight, people could spill out of Stone Street and go into there. And again, you're talking about Oktoberfest.
Of Pearl Street. It's on Pearl.
Right, or Pearl. I'm sorry,
and
right.
then come into William and Stone and the park. I mean,
Right.
We're talking.
We have a lot of problems right now, and this is just, I don't think anybody we should be giving, it's just my opinion. It's problematic.
For it.
Yeah.
Susan, it's Darryl.
Yes.
So I guess the other Top Hops in Essex Market, I know it's a different neighborhood. How late is that one open?
I'd have to double check. I think they have a 12 a.m. They might even have a 1 a.m. I'm not 100% certain about
They're open rather late. Okay, that's a different neighborhood. My thing is, what else in that food hall do you expect to be open? Let's just say after 10 p.m. Is it just the Top Hops? I can't imagine people are getting dinner at a food hall at, after 10 p.m. What are your thoughts?
So Carrie can kind of talk to you about the various outlets, but there will be a mixture. Some will be like a coffee shop, or some might be, they're going to have a pizza outlet, a burger outlet, various, elements. And some may, if coffee shop isn't going to stay open till midnight, so they may close a little bit earlier, while others, which are more food focused, will stay open later. But Carrie can kind of talk to you about the various concepts within.
Yeah, because I'd like to know what you envision, aside from Top Hops and maybe the pizza spot, what else do you envision being open after 10 p.m.?
Yeah, so if I may, we do plan to have several of our food vendors open that late as well. Our food halls in Midtown really serve kind of two meal periods. Number one is lunch, and then number two is dinner. And we have seen that a lot of office workers, get out later and do need to eat, a bite in the kind of later hours of the evening. Our food hall is primarily just that. We sell food. We are a collection of a number of very small mom and pop businesses. Most of our vendors only have, fewer than 4 locations, or this might even be their very first brick and mortar. This location, the main entrance actually faces 55 Water Street, and we do hope to be an amenity to all the workers across the street.
So, 12 a.m. is not workers. So listen,
Open at 7 a.m. So you're serving breakfast too, and you want to have serving liquor at 10 a.m. as well.
Well, 7 a.m. Yes, right.
Yeah, food service, it says hours of operation and food services from 7 a.m. to 12 a.m.
I want to understand something. So the liquor, the way I read the application, you're going to have a public assembly capacity of 250, but you have 110 seats with 50 tables and then a bar area. So all of that is what you're going to serve liquor to. Am I correct?
We don't expect everyone that comes into the
No. Don't go there. That's the number you've put down. I want to understand what your expectation is.
Yes, there's 110 seats in the space.
Susan, I would just say a typical food court, you don't expect to be a party space. And I don't think, as their business plan sounds, it's fine. However, with it being the hours that they want across the street from Ulysses and all those bars on Pearl, and we know how those bars come out into Pearl and whatnot, it just has the potential to be much more than that. Maybe if they would commit to an ingress and egress on Water Street and not on Pearl, I don't know that that's possible, to kind of cut down on that.
I don't know. We can ask them. The
Can
other.
we talk about security?
Well, I'm just saying if the only ingress and egress was on Water, so that you didn't have the bars right across the street. Again, they spill out. They spill into our park. It's chaos. But if perhaps it would be a compromise if they only allowed people to come in and out on Water Street, and there's some sort of separation there, maybe it wouldn't have the potential that it does now, as proposed to.
Well, I would
be as problematic.
I would propose two things, Megan, if that was possible. But if not, I would also say that 12 a.m. is too late. And I would say if it's a food court and whatever else, I would give them till 10 p.m.
Yeah. Susan, I second that 10 p.m. closing time.
Other than outright rejection, which I don't want to do, I think 12 a.m. is too late. I think it is a neighborhood. It's not in the public interest. I would certainly say 10 p.m., Megan. That's what I would propose. And I would propose that I like your questioning of if they could have the entrance and egress, on Water Street. They may have to have an egress on Pearl. I just don't know. I don't know what the space requires.
Carrie, do you know about the entrance? Could we agree to maybe at a certain time only using the Water Street entrance exit, and maybe during the earlier hours the other entrance? Does that sound reasonable?
Yeah. I mean, I will let you know that Urban Space is absolutely open to that, so long as it doesn't detract from business for the food vendors that are located near the Pearl Street entrance. I'm not sure if there may be additional requirements. I suppose per the FDNY that Pearl Street entrance remain open.
Well, it could be egress, not entrance. You know what I mean? But it's a problem. So
was the plan to have both sides open originally?
There's two entrances.
One on Pearl and one on
Water.
Well,
what kind of security is in the building, in the food court?
So we staff the food hall during all hours of operations with managers who oversee the space, ensure that the guests are safe, responsible, make sure that there's no issues, as well as clean the space and maintain.
But there wouldn't necessarily be anybody by the doors or in front, making sure that there's no loitering after they exit, or they keep it moving and stuff like that.
I mean, that's certainly something that we're absolutely open to. The truth is that our spaces don't function in any way as a club or a bar, and we just have never been able to, or we've never generated that sort of business or activity at any of our locations, and we don't anticipate that this will be that way either, but we are certainly happy to add that security on if needed.
The problem with Lower Manhattan, or this part of Lower Manhattan, as opposed to maybe LES where Essex Market is and they have wider streets, is that our streets were made for horses. They're very small. So it doesn't take much. You may not be planning a party, but it doesn't take much or that many people to be congregating in one small space before it is in fact a party, and a bad one.
So we can go on and
Susan,
on.
Susan, wait. Susan,
yeah.
can I ask you a couple of questions?
Oh, please, Joe, go right ahead.
Okay, so Couple things. Unlike Stone Street, where we can gather all the principal owners and the managers when we have a problem, Susan and I and Megan and Liz, we go over and we talk to them. This sounds much more fragmented and independent if there is a problem. I mean, you're adding 200 people to an already beehive, which is busy on Stone Street. And as Megan said, people are spilling out into our park. So now you're adding another 200 people into that dense drinking area. So a couple questions. Stone Street has hired independent security. There are at least 3 or 4 security guards that they're paying for to make sure that it doesn't get out of hand. And they've done a good job so far doing that. Could it be better? Yes, but they've done a good job, but they're very cooperative. So I think you're also going to need, if you're going to have 200 people adding to that street, you're going to need to pay for independent security people that are tethered to Hanover Square and the other residences. So if we have a problem, we can call somebody and let you know there's a problem and it can be taken care of. All right, hold that thought for a second. The second one is garbage trucks down here, because of the narrow streets, are a nightmare. And Megan's the first one to tell you it's a nightmare, because they come 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, backing up, throwing their garbage in. Where's your garbage pickup, and what time is your private sanitation coming?
I believe.
Go ahead, sorry.
I
Carrie.
believe pickup is 6 days a week in the morning.
What time?
I don't have the exact hour.
Well, the problem is there's a lot of residences here, and we don't want to keep getting, woken up on the weekends, especially Saturday and Sunday, but certainly not 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, which happens with a lot of private sanitation in this area. So I would like to know when that is happening, and where is the garbage being taken out?
I believe it's removed from the loading dock.
Where's the
Where is
loading
that?
dock? It is between the Pearl Street door and I believe Hanover.
Yeah. Okay. So Joel and Megan, there are a couple of things. This is what I would propose, and I would like to see what everybody thinks. I think the hours have to be 10 p.m. For closing for liquor. I would put in stipulations around garbage and collection and security if we approve this. But I think 12 a.m. or even 11 a.m. is too late for where the area is. And again, I would give them a year. I wouldn't give them 6 months to look at it if they wanted to come back for a little later. But I would propose 10 p.m. I worry always about outright rejection on this one. Because I don't know what the will do. So I would put the stipulations in. I would put in a number of things regarding the public interest and what has happened in the neighborhood around all of this. But I would not allow, I would close it down at the liquor at 10 p.m. They could have food later if they wanted, but not alcohol. So that's my proposition. So I would like you all to respond to that.
Susan, I'm just going to say I'll probably abstain, and I'll just tell you why. I just think we're living in a different world now, and you know exactly what I'm talking about when we go over. Those are excellent owners on Stone Street, all of those business owners there who try to work with us. They cannot control the crowds. We've gone round and round with them. People are losing their minds. I'm sorry. I think it's post-COVID. I don't know, what's happening, but it's becoming more and more difficult. So even we have a conversation about security. They have security and it's not working. And these are excellent owners. These are experienced tavern owners for decades who can't control these crowds right now. So I blame COVID. I think we blame our public officials for a lot of what's going on now. It's not safe down here. When I heard the people with respect to John Street speaking, they don't feel safe anymore. I talked to a neighbor who lives above Delmonico's, doesn't feel safe down here. And we're doing our best to work with the owners again, all along Pearl and Stone. And I just have a tough time granting another liquor license of this magnitude. And I don't think, and I'll stop. A food court is necessarily, and the way they discuss their business plan makes perfect sense. The problem is its location across from these bars and what we're dealing with now. That's the problem.
Is the location with alcohol.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
It's not
Yeah,
the
well,
food court. It's the issue of alcohol and what happens.
Right.
And
yeah, we're oversaturated. This particular area in these small streets are oversaturated. And now Cipriani's is back up and running. So now you have the street traffic again. Cipriani's is up and running. So you have all those people coming to the neighborhood. And now you're adding another 200 people on these same 3 blocks. It doesn't work.
So, here we are, everyone.
Well, and Pace and NYU are loading us up with students.
So, we have a dilemma. I think this food court is probably going to happen. The issue for me is the time and the control of it. So my proposal would be that it closes at 10. If somebody thinks it should close earlier, I'm open to it. But I would give them a shot that it must, and I would put in all the stipulations on garbage and whatever. And that's what I am proposing. I don't like it. I think my neighbors are totally correct. But I am worried that if we don't do something or put it in, that the SLA will allow this without our, they won't reject it outright. And that's what bothers me. It's not
So
like
Susan, you're giving them 10 o'clock on Sunday too?
No, I could close it. We could do it later on Sunday. Earlier on Sunday. That wouldn't, I don't have any trouble with that, Joel. What time do you think? 8 p.m.?
9 o'clock.
9
And
o'clock.
if they're really a food hall and they have great food, why don't they concentrate on that? We don't need people in a bar taking their stuff and just roaming around and sitting in 3 Hanover Square Park with their beer. So if it's really about the food and the food experience, it doesn't have to be open late.
Well, I think that we could certainly, I have no trouble with Sunday at 8 and the rest of the time at 10. So that's what I would propose. Does anybody else have a question? I would like to go forward with this. I'm sorry, Carrie, and it's just and Heather, it's a problem. And that's what I'm proposing. Does anybody have any questions or comments?
I have a comment. I'm familiar with another urban space location, the one on 52nd Street and 7th Avenue. And what I've noticed there is by the time I leave my gym, which is right there around 8 o'clock, it's empty. So I would actually question whether it needs to stay open even until 10.
Carrie can talk about the business model and, the vendors and what they need, but 10 p.m., across the board, 7 days a week is what we would be asking for.
Well, I wouldn't give it to you on Sunday. I'm sorry. But I'm certainly willing to see what, I understand, Karen, but I'm willing to give it a shot. I understand I just don't want it to go beyond us. Do you know what I'm trying to say? I just don't want the SLA to do something that I don't think is that will bite us in the behind. So that is my proposal as to the committee, and we could vote on it if I have a calling the question and a second.
Call the question.
Susan, I'm going to ask one more thing.
What? Go on, ask.
Would they be willing, why not, if we're going to cut Saturday or Sunday, why not Saturday? If this is a lunch place for business crowds, can we, and most of the lunch places down here, there's no business on the weekends. So would they be willing to cut their hours on Saturday and Sunday?
Well,
to a little bit less than 10.
You want to do it 9, 8? What do you want to do, Megan? Talk to me.
I think 8 o'clock on Saturday and Sunday, since it's basically for the business crowds, as they stated, it's a food hall, is reasonable.
Yes.
No?
Yeah,
Yes,
there's
I have no trouble
business
with
down
that.
here.
I will propose it. I think we've been as reasonable as we can. And I would say that it's 10 Monday through Friday and Saturday and Sunday till 8. How's that?
And Susan, just chiming in real quickly, if we don't agree to those hours, you guys can obviously still vote and pass the resolution. I guess if we need to add that, we wouldn't be agreeing to those early closing hours.
You could add to that, and we will go to the SLA.
Okay.
All right. I mean, we're very clear about that. We will have representation there. I don't think we're being unreasonable. All right, everybody. The applicant, and that means you won't sign the stipulations.
Yeah, I'll discuss offline with Carrie and the team just to, make a decision internally, and then we'll let you know.
All right. So with the proposal as is, do I have any recusals?
Wait a minute, what is as is?
As is 10 o'clock. Thank you, Karen. 10 o'clock, Monday through Friday, Saturday and Sunday till 8.
And is there stipulation related to entrances and exits, or no? We couldn't resolve that.
All of that in, Megan. The entrance at water, that and egress, if they can provide it. They may have to have an egress because of the space on Pearl, the garbage collection, all of that included. Okay?
Can someone call the question?
Call the question.
Thank you.
Okay. Second?
Second.
All right. Recusals? Noes? All in favor? I would think everybody is. That's what we're going to take. Thank you. And thank you to the committee on this, because you're going to have a hard time with rejecting this. So my suggestion, Heather, is that your group go forward with our proposal. All right. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Honestly, it takes us.
What? Pardon me? I don't know who was talking. So, all right. Next one, moving right along, I think, is 52 Broadway.
Correct. Yeah. So Sodexo operations, and we have our council here with the premises manager,
Okay.
Lindsay Farina and Hector Colon. So Lindsay and Hector, you can unmute yourselves, and I'll pull up the presentation.
Sure. Thank you for having us. We appreciate you. We appreciate you taking the time after such a long evening. I just wanted to give a brief introduction and give some background information about the applicant and the premises. I hope this will be a fairly innocuous application. We are representing Sodexo. Sodexo is a national caterer with licenses held throughout New York State. Some notable locations are Binghamton University, SUNY University at Albany, Bloomberg Tower in Manhattan, and St. Bartholomew's in Manhattan. We are seeking a catering establishment license for the United Federation of Teachers. This location will not be open to the public. It will be sited at the United Federation of Teachers office building. The purpose of the license essentially will be to enhance food service that Sodexo is already providing at the location to this premises. And just in case you're not familiar with this group, the United Federation of Teachers is a It's a teachers union
We
for
know.
most teachers.
Okay, we know.
Oh, okay. You do
We
know?
know,
Okay.
we know.
So I'll
They
save
have
that for you.
conferences and stuff like that there, so they need the
Yeah,
catering.
we
side
understand.
there.
All right, it's on the second and third floor.
Yeah,
Yes.
nice space.
52 Broadway is on, right,
We're
you
we're
know,
between Exchange and New Street.
yeah, yeah. Okay, anybody have any questions? Okay,
Just call the question.
yeah, okay, second, any no's?
Okay.
Moving right along.
All right, any,
We appreciate that.
all right, you've got it, okay? Good luck.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Good night. All right, last one, Jen, Fulton Street.
Yes, yeah, 125 Fulton. We have Robert Callahan and Matt Pomerantz here. Robert and Matt, I move you both as panelists.
Oh, that's it. Finally a good bagel place.
Well, I have a good bagel place in my.
No, the other place burnt down. It was really good. They had a terrible fire, and then COVID happened. So I guess there was a reason. So now we got suckers off Chambers Street. Now I don't have to go all the way over to Chambers Street.
All right, well, let's see. All right, tell us
Everybody
what you
hear
want.
me?
Yeah. Go.
Okay. Hey, Susan?
Yeah.
Mark Amoruso, sorry to interrupt. I was unmuted yet, so I just want to say for the previous revolution, I was a yes, but I couldn't, if you could just record it for me.
Thank you.
So I was late verbally saying it. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, Mark. All right, so go for it. Zucker.
Okay, so it's an on-premise liquor license application. We're located at 125 Fulton Street between Nassau and Williams. We're a small cafe serving quality foods such as smoked fish, salads, sandwiches, and of course bagels. Our hours are 7 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. 7 days a week. We currently have 20 tables and 40 seats, and there will not be a sit-down bar. So basically, you ask yourself, why a liquor license for what's, essentially a bagel place? We do a lot of off-site catering, and a lot of that catering is corporate catering. So the liquor license will allow us to offer cocktails during that catering.
Makes sense.
I'm sorry?
No, I just said makes sense. I understand.
Right.
I've dealt
So,
with
I mean, liquor sales at the actual store will be very minimal. Maybe possibly in the future, they're discussing right now, maybe having a sort of a brunch type thing on the weekends, but they're not 100% sure of that. Matt owns several other stores that have this model, and they're very successful at what they do. Matt, if you want to add anything that I'm missing, please jump in.
So I've owned Zuckers on Chambers for 15 years. I've been living downtown for 20 years. I've been on the board of directors for the Downtown Soccer League for 9 years, coach for 9 years. It's my neighborhood. I actually live in Pideye, so I'm not going to do anything inappropriate. We have a beer and wine license actually in our Chelsea store, and I think we sold 3 glasses of wine and 5 beers in total last week. So we don't expect in-store sales to be successful anyway. It's really all about our catering business. So
early.
Matt,
yeah,
I have a question.
we
You
have
don't have
more-
any outdoor seating?
We won't have outdoor seating on Fulton. I don't think we're allowed to
23rd
have.
Street you do.
No, I don't think you are.
Yeah,
think
I'm
that's
pretty sure we're not allowed, but
okay.
but again, the main distinction here is it's for our catering business.
All right. Any questions, anybody?
Yeah, I do, even though I just arrived. Sorry. Anyway,
Go on.
yeah, I mean, certainly good history here with the folks, applicants. However, why apply for a OP license as opposed to a catering or a beer and wine to start out with? as you mentioned, just beer and wine previously?
Because beer and wine at my other location, our intention there was to actually serve beer and wine at the location. It wasn't successful. This is the distinction here is this liquor license is for our catering business, which is a requirement. You really, it's part of being in the
So why not a
event.
catering license instead of an OP license?
Hey, Bob, can you explain that?
Yeah, because for us to cater from this establishment, we need to have the on-premise license. And there will be a small, if you look at the chart, there is a small service bar area in the store.
Well, no, actually, correct me if I'm wrong. You don't need the OP license to cater from that place. You need the OP license because you have a small section where you want to serve on the premises.
Correct.
So that's the distinction. You want to serve on the
like
premises. If you have a catering license, you don't need the OP license.
Like you had mentioned before, there's a possibility that they were going to do a brunch service during the weekends, and we would need the OP license. To
Okay, then that's the reason. It's not for catering.
Well, I had stated it before.
Although it covers it,
meantime,
I believe, but the OP license is so you can drink inside the establishment, not for the catering. It sounds like we're nitpicking here, but these distinctions are important, particularly if it comes before us with I won't say it, but we need to know what the differences are here and what they really mean.
What I need to know is what is your seating capacity, so I understand it.
Well, right now it's 40. Right now we have 40.
Okay.
The capacity for the spot is 74.
That's fine.
Right now
I just needed to know that because it's based on Mark's question, which thank you, Mark. All right, everybody. Are there any other questions?
Susan, I have a question, if that's okay. They mentioned here that they have open seating via the open restaurants program. Can I ask the scope of the seating, how that looks like, and what time?
They said no. Oh, but go
Not
right
on
ahead.
Fulton Street, they can't have it. They have it on 23rd Street.
Yeah, we're putting that on all our applications because we had a problem with one board where they said, do we have any outdoor spaces? And we said no. And then the open restaurant seating was going on. So as far as sidewalk cafes and outdoor seating, we just putting open restaurant seating, whether the store is able to have it or not. It's up to the DOT and all of that stuff, but we're just putting it.
Well, we're going to recommend that it not be.
What I believe is that they cannot have it on Fulton Street. So
we're going to make sure it's in our stipulation, in our resolution. Okay.
That's fine.
All right.
One more thing. I noticed that they also mentioned I can't really see it correctly. 2 p.m. till 2 a.m. deliveries.
See that? Go
back.
back.
That's actually 7 a.m. to 2 p.m.
2 p.m.
Okay.
Yes.
They close early.
Thank you.
We close at 2:30 p.m. right now.
I wanted to make sure. Thank you.
No locks.
So it's 9:01. Could I have a second?
Call the question.
And a second. All right, here we go. Any rejection? Any no's? Any recusals? All in favor? You got it, guys. Good luck.
Great. Thank you very much, everyone. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
We're done, Jen.
We are done, unless anyone wants to raise anything.
Don't even think about it.
I'd like to say to all of you, thank you. And thank you for participating and being really part of this committee. I'm really very grateful to all of you. So thank you.
Thank you for your leadership.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Bye, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Susan, I'll stop the recording.
to you. Thanks, Jen.